story of the state. We're off of I-71 at Crew Stadium for the second annual Ohio High School Football Kickoff Classic. It's Reynoldsburg and Pickerington as we kick off our 19th season of the High School Football Game of the Week, next here on Sport TV. Look at the crowd. It is a sultry summer night at a soccer stadium in central Ohio, but we are talking high school football as tonight Reynoldsburg takes on Pickerington. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Sport TV, the start of our 19th high school football season. I've been around for the last 18. I'm Randy Reinhardt, joined by the former Groveport Madison head coach Tom McDonald. Tom, welcome.
It's great to be back, Randy. This atmosphere, as far as an opening game of the season, unbelievable. Here we have a Michigan-Ohio State atmosphere, and it's the first game of the season.
Let's talk about this matchup. Reynoldsburg, coached by Tony Pusateri in year number 6. This team 6-4 last season, but they had to win their last 5 games to get to that point. In fact, 1-4 in the first 5 games, 2 of those losses by a total of 5 points in overtime. They have a veteran at quarterback. He's a junior, Tom, and his name is John Ferguson.
Only a junior, Randy, but already one of the top-rated people in central Ohio. He's 6'5", over 200 pounds, threw for 11 touchdowns last year and 1,600 yards. He is the leader of this offense.
Meanwhile, the Tigers of Pickerington, 11-1. They made it to the second round of the playoffs before falling to Logan last year, coached by Jack Johnson. In year number 29, this team lost a lot of starters, so they have a junior at quarterback, but he's unproven. His name is Dustin Oldican.
Unproven, Randy, but a winner nonetheless. He's an experienced man in the basketball court. He's very quick and deceptive, and he runs the offense very well.
Now, in this series, the teams have split the last 6 games. To start the campaign last year, Pickerington victorious at Reynoldsburg by a count of 21-11. High school football season is here. We're loving it. Are you? Stick around. The kickoff of Reynoldsburg and Pickerington next, exclusively on Sport TV. The high school football game of the week, proudly presented by Insight Communications and by Time Warner Communications. The 2001 campaign is underway. Pickerington deferred to the second half. Reynoldsburg will return it, but the ball goes into the end zone, so we'll bring it out to the 20-yard line for the Raiders as we start in week number 1. It feels great to bring you high school football action here on Sport TV. So Reynoldsburg will get the ball to start things. As we said, they won their last 6 regular season contests, and John Ferguson will lead them at quarterback. He's something special. To take a look at the starters for the Raiders in this contest, you look at the guys up front. Nicodemus is a special story, too. I mean, here's a guy that's the only non-veteran in the offensive line. Excellent. And the guys in the backfield as well, too, with Ferguson, Spike Foster, Parrish, Martin, and Fillmore. On first down, the pitch goes to Spike, trying to turn the corner around the left-hand side, across the 30, the 35, pulls his way across the 40, across the 45-yard line, and has a first down just 9 seconds into this contest. Offensively for the squad from Reynoldsburg, they were more wide open last year and more wing T probably this year, Tom McDonald.
They certainly had the wing T in this particular play, and when the motion man came around, they outflanked the Pickerington defense.
Jay Sherritt is the defensive coordinator, and here's the look. It's a 50 with those guys up front. McAndrew, an interesting story. This is only his second year of playing high school football, or football of any level for that matter. The defense of the linebackers looks like that for Pickerington, and Humphreys, third year starting for Andy. And we'll check out the secondary in just a moment. The pass is incomplete, in and out of the hands of number 3, George Ashman, a 6'2 junior, who had 5 catches for 98 yards last season. And the rest of the secondary for Pickerington, a couple of good guys there, and James and Jablonka, they combined for 9 interceptions. Kyle leading the way with 5 of his own last year, including an interception return for a touchdown against Grove City. So it's now a second down and 10 situation as Tom, they mark him out of bounds at the 31-yard line in that long run by Spike, so give him only 11 as opposed to about 26. And it's now second down and 10, 13 seconds into this contest. Fillmore wide at the bottom of the formation. Wing to the top and bottom. Ferguson rolls right, looks, dumps, pass complete to Spike across the 35, across the 40, and near the sticks at the 41-yard line.
Ferguson showed some ability on that one, Randy. Nice play action fake to the fullback as he rolled out. The strong safety had to make a decision. He supported, and the pass was completed behind him.
In fact, they will measure to see if indeed it is a first down for the Raiders. And John Ferguson, one thing he has improved on, Tom, as you alluded to, is his mobility. Last year, 18 carries for -5 yards. But here's a guy that wasn't asked to run the football his first 2 years, really asked to be a pocket passer, and kind of going to have that same role this year. A little more mobility. Tony Pusateri says he's kind of akin to a Michigan quarterback with plenty of size, can move in the pocket and then find the open receiver. Earlier, I had a chance to talk to Tony Pusateri, the Raiders head coach, and I asked him what he hopes to accomplish with this game tonight.
First, we want to win. We hope we get a win. It's a good way to start off the season. But we want to get better. You remember Coach Hayes used to say those first couple weeks, you either get better or you get worse, and we're looking to get better.
And right now, he's got something that Coach Hayes would not like to see. That is the third down situation. And the ball is short, though, by just a couple links of the chain, so it is third down and less than one. Ferguson at quarterback. See whose number he calls. Spike has been there in the backfield with Parrish and Foster. They go about 5 or 6 deep. Reynoldsburg will use a 2-platoon system. Pickerington will share about 6 guys on offense and defense.
And with the temperature tonight, that could prove very exciting to see what's going to happen in the fourth quarter.
Third and less than one from just past the 40-yard line. Handoff goes to the second man through, and the Raiders have the first down, advancing the ball all the way up to the 44-yard line. Parrish on the carry.
If you think about Ferguson's first 2 passes, I think Coach Pusateri is doing an excellent job of giving him some confidence. The first one was a very quick pass, short pass, and then the second one was also a short pass out in the flat. Start to build that confidence right from the get-go.
There's Tony Pusateri in year number 6 running things for the Raiders, and you saw the Tigers sideline. Jay Sherrod, of course, a longtime defensive coordinator with that 50 look for Pickerington. First and 10 from the 44. We've played 55 seconds. Spike in motion. He's got it around the left side, across the 45, and he just turns it into rugby at midfield. Chris is a guy that last year had 16 carries for 80 yards.
He's coming on strong right from the get-go here. Now, Randy, what's happening is Reynoldsburg's going to a 1-back set. This time they had 3 receivers flanked to their right, and as they sent motion, Pickerington had to adjust. They did a lot better this time, but they still were. Reynoldsburg was able to pick up 5 or 6.
See Foster, the lead blocker in that play, and there's Spike trying to turn it inside and get what yardage he can as he finds his seam to midfield. Second down and just past the 50-yard line. They need about 4. We played just over 90 seconds in the first period. That's Foster in motion. Ferguson wants to throw here on second down. Looks, dumps, and only Tigers there. The pass picked off on the play for pick down by Jake Keener. Keener the 25, Keener the 20, the 15, and finally brought down by his face mask inside the 10-yard line. No advice pass that time, and the Tigers get the big break, and that's the one thing that Jack Johnson talked about. He said it's going to be vital to see who takes advantage of the turnover opportunities in this game. Pickerington has a huge opportunity here as we sort out the penalty situation offensively for Pickerington. There's the scenario for them. Horton is a guy that has something special on the right side, a 2-year starter. Otherwise, everyone else is in their first year on offense for Pickerington. Alden we mentioned as the quarterback. Adams, Trapasso, James, Tiefenthaler, Jablanca saw some time though last year. Jablanca did a good job at the end of the game last year with an interception, taking it back for a touchdown. Tiefenthaler had 3 catches. There's the face mask call. By Brian Spangler, our referee, so it is now first and goal near the 4-yard line. 1:55 into this contest. 50 yards on that interception returned by Keener. Alden, what a situation to come in your first varsity game, the ball first and goal inside the 5-yard line. Handoff, left side, touchdown, just like that. A.J. Trapasso, the 6-foot sophomore. And Pickerington with first blood up 6-0, 1:59 into this contest.
Sure didn't take the Tigers long to capitalize on that miscue. And actually, Trapasso was kicked off into the end zone. I think he's very motivated, so he's done 2 great things already.
Trapasso is a guy that, ironically, in his freshman season, his big game was against Reynoldsburg. Rushed for 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now, Pickerington has 3 different guys that can kick extra points. It'll be Jeff Jablanca, whose brother Jared had the honors last season. He's now at Denison. A chance to make it 7-0. The snap, the kick is up, and the kick is good. So, with 10:01 left to go in the first quarter, it is 7-0 Pickerington as we look at the touchdown one more time.
You'll see the slot man coming in motion. Just an isolation play. Great blocking by the line, and also a nice block by Adams. And 6 points, Tigers.
AJ stands for another junket. This time it's a touchdown. Earlier we talked to the top man for the last 29 years with Pickerington. Same question for Jack Johnson. What are you hoping to accomplish in this game tonight?
Well, after our first scrimmage, I thought that our kids needed to play with a little more heart. So I'm looking at the heart tonight and how well they execute. We need to control the football and play with a lot of aggression. So I'm looking at those two areas.
Another thing to look for as Trapasso gets ready to kick it off is, again, converting on the turnovers, and Pickerington did it immediately. One play, they take it in from about 4 yards out, and they're up 7-0. AJ with the boot. Another boomer. They said he's got a great leg. He proves it that time, and it's brought down at the goal line by Cephas. Across the 15, Jason to the 20, dancing and weaving all the way up across the 28-yard line.
Nice return, Randy. He knows that if his momentum carries him back into the end zone, the whistle blows and it comes out to the 20, and he kind of made like a basketball rebound on about the 2-inch line and was able to return that well past the 20 up, so right at the 30.
Cephas will return kicks and punts, and take a look at the return from ground level one more time.
Saw a seam to the outside. He looks like he has some quickness. I think Cephas will be playing a lot tonight.
1st and 10 from near the 29-yard line. Ferguson on the keeper, out across the 30, up to the 32. He was 6'5" as a freshman. Now as a junior, he is 6'5" and 3/4. Tony Pusateri says in his shoes, he's just about 6'6". As you look along the sidelines, and Joe Tiefenthaler lost one of his contacts.
Boy, I remember Joe. That's been a very pleasant surprise when I saw he was in the starting lineup.
Now, you used to coach in the Pickerington school system,
I
right?
sure was fortunate enough to coach these seniors as freshmen, and Joe was just a happy-go-lucky kid, great attitude, but didn't really have the quickness or the strength that he has now, and he must have worked real hard in the weight room.
2nd down and nearly 8 from the 32-yard line with Foster in motion. Ferguson wants to throw, looking underneath, looking long, but there's 4 defenders, only 2 receivers, and a diving attempt at the pass at the 42-yard line, but it's incomplete as Ashman goes out of bounds. One rule change in high school football this season, as you look at the replay, let me tell you that we used to just have roughing the kicker. Now, like the higher levels of football, we also have running into the kicker. So you have that judgment call. It can go 5 or 15. That is the major rule change for the gridiron game on the high school level this year.
Great camera work and good pressure by Stuart Red on the play.
Reed, of course, the brother of Lawrence Reed, is now at Michigan. 3rd down at just about 8. The quick pop underneath, complete to Spike, out to the 40, near the 41-yard line, and with his forward progress, should have enough for the 1st down because the stick along the far side of the field is right at the 40-yard line.
Yaks, Randy, yards after the catch, and that's what the Reynoldsburg receiver came up with, speech this time, because Pickerington was in a 3-man line and dropped off 8. They were able to find the seam and get the 1st down on.
So Spike with a nice play out to the 41-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 from the 41. 8:52 left to go here. 1st quarter, Pickerington on top 7-0, but the Bird driving right now. Foster, the lone back, with a wing to the top. Foster gets a handoff, spins, twirls, gets away from 2 guys, but the 3rd guy that kisses him there is Richard Adams. One of those 6 or 7 Tigers that'll play both ways tonight for Jack Johnson.
Right, this time he got to deliver a blow on defense. He also was the lead blocker on the touchdown run. You'll see him step right up as he reads his key. Right there, keeps his legs moving. Great tackle.
Hill almost had the thrill with the first hit behind the line of scrimmage, but this twist away move, and the ball is up to the 42, a gain of just about 1 on the play for Ferguson and company. 2nd and 9. We played nearly 4 minutes here in the 1st quarter.
Passing situation.
Ashman wide to the bottom. Fillmore to the top. Wing to the top and the bottom. And this is Ferguson. A quick pop to Ashman. Pass is complete, but a short gain out to around the 44-yard line as George, whose father ran track for Jamaica, makes the catch. He had 5 catches last year for 98 yards. Take a look.
Okay, this is just a quick hitch pass. Hopefully, once he makes the catch, it was a little behind him, so he wasn't able to juke after he caught it. Did make a nice grab.
And George's brother Rod, first played here last year. He's going to Otterbein now. So it'll be a 3rd down situation now. They need about 8. 7.5 left to go first quarter. This time Fillmore to the top. And they go wing to the top and bottom again. It carries the deep back and spike in motion. Ferguson wants to go left as well. A lot of pressure, looks, dumps into traffic. Pass incomplete. I tell you what, Reynoldsburg is sending out about 2 receivers, Tom, but there seems like there's 5 guys defending him.
They are flying to the football tonight. Coach Sherrod has that defensive secondary primed for Ferguson, and you're right. There was 2 or 3 defensive backs again around the football. You'll see the pressure. I think Davis was one of them putting the pressure on, number 37. And
Stuart Reed was the first to get in there. Also in there with some pressure is Jeff Frank, big guy on the defensive line, the 2-year starter. He's playing defensive tackle. He played the nose last season.
And he played outside linebacker for me, is about 150 pounds, but what a tough kid.
Kyle Paw to punt. Did it last year as well. That is a hanger. Big time floater. Fair catch called for and taken on the play by Ryan Manilak at around the 18-yard line. So the Tigers get it back now. 7:09 left to go in the quarter. There's the defense for Reynoldsburg in this contest with Strasser, Goglin, Straits, Amati up front, and Joe, a first-year starter. There are the linebackers as well, too. Kramer is a guy that's been around now for a second year. And in the secondary, 3 good ones in Luttrell, Paul, and Griffin. 1st and 10. Aldigan roll, pressure's on, he's going down. The guy wrapping him up on the play, number 48 from his defensive end slot, Shijoki Amati, a 2-year starter.
Good coverage by Melvin Griffin also in the secondary. There was nowhere to throw the ball, so he did the smart thing and tucked it away.
Amati, one of those guys who went through middle school during that great program the Raiders had where he didn't lose a game in 7th, 8th, or 9th grade.
Yes, both these schools have great tradition as in all levels.
2nd down and just about 19, 6:35 left to go. Pickerington up by 7. They've got the ball, and here comes Adams.
Nice.
Motoring across the 15, all the way out to the 19-yard line. Reminiscent of the Green Bay Packers in the mid-60s.
It looks like Pickerington may have snuck in an unbalanced line. I'm not sure if Reynoldsburg adjusted and outflanked the Reynoldsburg defense. And very nice run.
Reynoldsburg defensively likes to play that 4-4. Tony Pusateri has had that as his trademark at the Sales in Westerville South. He even used it at Bowling Green when he was an assistant coach up there. Mark Huntley is the defensive coordinator, and Mark, I believe, was the former head coach at Hamilton Township.
Right, he's an outstanding football coach, very experienced, and I'm sure Coach Pusateri gives him a lot of this importance on the defense.
3rd and 8. Aldigan to throw, or Willie.
Nope.
Willie Tuck, he'll keep 20, 25, near the sticks across the 28-yard line. And tough to tell, but it looks like from this vantage point that he's got the first down with 6:19 left to go first quarter. Let's see where they mark the football.
I think definitely got the first down, and there it was signified. But what he did so well this time was he didn't hesitate. Once he saw he could get that first down yardage, he tucked it away. And a great play action fake there on the ISO. Then it's the boot pass. He has the option to run or pass, but he realizes that the defense has dropped off too far, and he's going to get that first down yardage.
1st and 10 from the 30-yard line now for the Tigers. It goes to Adams just by the first guy and all the way up to around the 34-yard line. There was pressure in the backfield, but Adams just motored by and through LaRay Hamilton, the linebacker.
That's right, and that offensive line's doing a nice job for the right side for Pickerington Tigers.
That would be Horton and Williams along with Alford, the center.
Correct, and Reset at the guard. Boy, there's some solid football players there. Let's see.
2nd down and just about 6 from the 34-yard line. Under 6 minutes left to go in the first quarter. 2 wideouts to the top. This time they hand it off to Trapasso, and A.J. up across the 35, maybe to the 37-yard line. His dad played football at Walnut Ridge, so they're keeping it on the east side.
You have to respect that dive out of those split backs. You have to stop the dive first, and when you start doing that, that opens up the quarterback and the pitch on the option. This would be a nice time to pull that ball and maybe keep it or pitch it.
Some people would say that Pickerington could be rebuilding when they lost so many guys off a team that went 11-1 last year. But look at the talent that they have with these young guys. Adams and Trapasso just sophomores. Aldigan, the quarterback, just a junior, yet they're up 7-0 in this contest with 5:10 left to go first quarter. On 3rd and short. Hand off right up the gut, and Trapasso up to the 40-yard line, was hit at the 38 and was dragging people right after the sticks.
2nd and 3rd effort gave him the first down, and Reynoldsburg was expecting the run, and I think they're going to try to force Pickerington to pass. They were in bump and run coverage with no help You'll see this is just a trap play. Excellent job of pulling and trapping by Horton. And Horton is a heck of a man. He's probably one of their finest defensive and offensive football players.
Horton and Williams, both co-captains on the line, and there's Trapasso. He's already got a touchdown in this contest, and then a great job kicking the ball as well. First down and 10 from the 41-yard line. On the delay to Adams, forget it. He is going nowhere. Great penetration by Tommy Goglin, the nose guard, who's starting for his second year.
You got that right. I think Coach Hunley's decided that we're going to come after those Tigers and force them to the pass, and you'll see there's nothing doing. No one was fooled on that one. It puts him in a dangerous 2nd and 14 or 15.
Nice dismount there by Tommy.
That was pretty
on his head.
Pretty
Ouch.
athletic, wasn't it?
He got him high, by the way, and Amati got him low. Second down, 14 with 4:22 left to go in the first quarter. Passo moving down the line. The pitch goes to Adams, trying to turn the corner. He gets there, but there's a flag down at the 35. And Adams goes down at around the 38-yard line, and Brian Spangler and company will sort this one out.
I think we had a hook block, sometimes known as a hold on the corner.
Penalty flag on the play.
And we're going to try to pick up the referee if we can. It's kind of an interesting situation. You have to work through about 3 different microphones to make sure the right one is up. And there's Adams trying to turn the corner right there. And brought down to the 38.
Just a toss sweep, and they had some pretty good yardage, but there was one illegal block that's going to set them that much farther back.
So they're going to march it back
From the spot.
all the way inside the 25-yard line to around the 24.
Well, we got part of what he said.
I'll cut in and out throughout the night. 4:12 left to go. I think what we're picking up is the house mic occasionally. Wide to the bottom of the formation now for Pickerington is Jablonka.
Shotgun, Randy, shotgun.
Siebenthaler wide to the top. Yep, from the shotgun. Alticud hands it off to A.J. Out across the 25. Has to work. He still works all the way up to the 30-yard line. But it's going to be 3rd down and a furlong. They need to get the ball all the way down to the Raider 49-yard line with 3:52 left to go. Take a look.
Okay, it's the draw out of the shotgun. Super effort here. Carlson, Shane Carlson, number 6, comes up, puts the finishing touches on that tackle.
And what a motivational story Carlson is. We'll touch on that a little later in this contest. 3rd down. At just about 20. 3.5 left to go. Alderson wants to throw. Will he have the time? He launches it downfield. The pass is caught on the play by Kyle James down the sideline. High stepping. And Pickerington gets the big play again. 69 yards for the touchdown with 3:19 left to go. And now it is 13-0 Tigers.
3rd and 20, Randy. Single coverage was taken advantage of. You'll see. Great protection. Excellent job. Alticud standing in the pocket, lays it up there. And this Kyle James is an incredible athlete. Comes from an athletic family. His father coaches here. And you're not going to catch Kyle James, especially not now. You may have as a freshman, but he's gotten a whole lot faster. Led the team in interceptions last year, and now he's got a 6-pointer.
Well, it looked like Paul lived up to his last name. I thought Paul had a paw on the ball. It looked like he slightly deflected the ball, but the great concentration by James as he makes the play, and now extra point time for Jeff Jablonka. And count it, and Pickerington with a wide margin early. 3:19 left to go in the quarter, up now 14-0. All right, if you're Reynoldsburg, how shell-shocked are you?
It's very tough because you haven't really had a lot of time to gel as a team, and something like this happening early is going to be a tremendous obstacle to overcome. As you see the touchdown pass again, you're right, it may have been deflected. It wasn't a pretty pass, but it was perfectly thrown and just over the outstretched fingertips of the defender. Like I said, Kyle James knows what to do with the football when he gets a hold of it.
He's got great hands. Take a look one more time. Look at the pressure. Watch number 2 Hamilton coming in right there just as he gets the ball off.
I didn't see that. That's even more of a credit to that quarterback, Alticud, who stands right in there, knew he was going to get hit, and still delivered the ball right on the money.
That was a 9-play, 82-yard drive, taking 3:50 off the clock. 69-yard pass to Kyle James. Remember, his brother Will also played here, and his dad is also Will Sr.
Great family.
Mother Kathy was a great athlete as well. That's going into the end zone.
Whoa, is it?
There's another weapon now for Pickerington in this contest.
Well, Jack has always stressed the kicking game, and once again, they do an excellent job of making sure that all phases of the football game are covered.
Not only do they stress it, but they're also very fortunate. Pickerington is a melting pot. When you look at their roster, there are more multi-syllabolic names than probably any school you'll see. Pat Sajak would love to just bring somebody over there and buy a vowel, but they always seem to be blessed with one or two great kickers, so you can emphasize it when you know you've got a couple in your stable. First and 10 for the 20. Ferguson straight back. Looking long, the out pattern, the pass nearly picked off on the play by James, intended for Mark Fillmore.
On a positive note, Ferguson did have a lot of time to look over the coverage.
So let's think of this. On the varsity level, Dustin Aldigan's first pass is completed 69 yards for a touchdown.
James almost had an interception, almost caught 2 in a row from 2 different people.
Two different quarterbacks.
I don't think you want to attack Kyle James's side.
Normally the dominant color is purple, but Reynoldsburg, the road team, the road uniforms, and Pickerington in their home, great, shall we say. 3:13 left to go. Second down and 10. Spike in motion. He's got it. He's got a seam. He's across the 25. Oh, he keeps his balance. He can break it, but he's got the first down at the 31, a pickup of 11 on the play.
Right up the middle. If Pickerington's defending the outside, they're going to crossing them up and go right up the middle with an isolation play, and Spike did a nice job, and like you said, he was about a shoestring away from going an awful lot farther.
When you talk to Tony Pusateri, the one thing he wants to do is add more and more of the offense until they get up to week number 5 when they start the OCC campaign. They're in the Cardinal, by the way, and Pickerington is in the Ohio, so 2 different divisions of the OCC. Foster in motion. He gets the pitch. He wants to turn the corner. He has little help, and he has little room as well, too. And a late hit on the play that could nearly draw a flag. We don't see it, though, with 2:47 left to go. Reynoldsburg arguing their case, but to no avail.
Well, 62 Horton didn't make the tackle, but he turned that play to the inside, and that Howells, I think number 99, or it might have been number 89, Lakins make the hit. See, right there, 62 turns it back in, and
Ryan Howells.
Yes, and he's a tough kid, too.
5'11", 200 pound, and a senior. 2:22 left to go. Second and 10. Ferguson looking long, lofting it downfield for Ashman in stride, the 40, the 30, to the 20, to the 10, and nearly kept his balance. Brought down inside the 10-yard line with 2:04 left to go. That was the weirdest way of going down I've seen in a long time. He looked like a boxer who went down 3 seconds after the hit. Well, what a play by Ashman and Ferguson.
It sure was. Reynoldsburg caught the Tigers in the 2 deep coverage, and they did get a good jam on the outside receiver, number 3, George Ashman, and he did the rest. Broke right to the outside. You'll see perfect concentration on the football, and if it wasn't for a great effort by Jablonka, he would have scored.
58 yards on the pitch and catch, and down goes Frazier. Going to mark him down just past the 10-yard line. In essence, they can have a 1st and 10 and get another first down before they can score. But can they score? They're down 14 with 2:04 left to go. Here's Foster. There's nothing there. Wrapped up on the play by number 41, Darrell Hill, the outside linebacker.
Another one of those sophomore freshmen that I was fortunate enough to coach. Darrell Hill is very solid. He's a good wrestler, as is Horton and Williams and a couple of the other ones. But you're not going to get away from a guy who's been practicing takedowns with Coach Burgess.
And that would be Nick Burgess, the wrestling coach. And his mom, by the way, is very active in the quarterback club as well. A momentary timeout by the officials on the field, but we're ready for play again. Again, if you're new to high school football, each team gets 3 timeouts per half. 1:40 and ticking. It's a 2nd and 11 after the 1-yard loss. To the top, it is Fillmore. To the bottom, it is Ashman. Karish is the lone back behind that man, John Ferguson. Straight back, the pop. It's complete to Ashman, and he is wrapped up, waiting to nail him. Big number 6 for the Tigers, Chris Henry.
Chris Henry, very solid open field tackle. Now, that's not as easy as it may look. Once that receiver, who we know has great quickness, catches that football, Ashman, 1 missed tackle and it's 6 points. Excellent concentration, eyes open, open field tackle, Henry.
So it's now 3rd down with the ball resting inside the 9. Again, they can get a first down at the 1-yard line. It is Fillmore wide at the bottom. He draws double coverage, it looks like.
85, Charlie Martin is a pretty good receiver, too, that both coaches bragged about how their tight ends may have the best hands on the team, and so far neither one has utilized their tight end.
And Pickerington burns the timeout, so the Tigers will take a timeout. Again, they have 2 remaining, and Reynoldsburg with their full allotment of 3 here in the first half. And don't forget, speaking of half, we'll hear from both high school marching bands and talk hopefully with Mike Collins, the president and owner of Promotions 1, one of the driving forces behind the 2nd annual Ohio High School Football Kickoff Classic. Probably saw it in the paper, but there were 2 games here today. The first game, Dublin-Scioto, getting by Westland, where offense was the name of that game. 42-22, the final count in that one. Total yards, you can see Reynoldsburg plus 16. A lot of offense already, Tom, with 46 ticks left to go in the quarter.
You're right, and that's very deceptive when you look at the, well, actually the score is very deceptive, but that big turnover really helps set the tempo.
I love that outfit.
No
you have
way.
one like that,
what
don't you?
in the world is that? That isn't a Tiger, and it's not a Raider. Well.
Passing yards. The Raiders up by 12 in that category. I have one in plaid like that.
Yeah.
Goes with my eyes.
Or something.
All right, if you're Reynoldsburg, what do you think can work here on this down?
Well, I think the thing you have to be thinking about, are you going to go for the field goal on 4th down, or are you going to try to get in the end zone? If you do, if you're going for the field goal, then you have to try to find something that's going to get in the end zone. Maybe a flag route to the outside, or drag the tight end across. Some sort of play action.
Can you dump it to a back in the flat, perhaps?
You could. Once again, then you're banking on him. You know Pickering will have a man there. You're just banking on the back breaking a tackle and getting the yards. I think you want to throw it to the end zone on these types of situations, especially if you plan on kicking a field goal on 4th down.
Fillmore wide at the bottom. Wings to the top and the bottom, and Foster and Spike. Ferguson rolls. Now going left. Trying to lead the receiver. Touchdown! Touchdown on the play to Charlie Martin, and it's now 14-6.
That's right. You got to watch Charlie. He was on the tight left side. He delayed a little bit, and the perfect play action enabled him to seep out into the flat. You'll see he's still delaying. He's being held up by Humphreys, and now he's breaking to the outside. Great pass, rolling the opposite direction. Nice concentration, and we've got a ball game.
Great push there by Ferguson. You don't have to throw that. You just push that, and there's the man Martin with the best hands on the team. You can see why.
It's tough to ask outside linebacker to cover a tight end man for man, but Humphreys was right there step for step. It took a perfect pass.
Paw to make it a 7-point game. High snap, high kick as well, and it is good. And it's 14-7. Pickerington on top with 40 ticks left to go in the first stanza.
Very exciting first stanza, I might add. This is something that I don't know if either coach expected. Maybe secretly they were hoping for, but I think both Pickerington and Reynoldsburg were pretty proud of their defenses and felt they really had to rely on them this year.
I think both coaches thought this would be the final score at the end of this contest.
You're right.
Last year, a wild game. It was 15-11, but Big Town got an interception on the last play to win 21-11. And there's the touchdown pass to Martin one more time.
Martin, great concentration.
That was a 7-play, 80-yard drive, Tom, that took 2:39 off the clock. So indeed, Reynoldsburg was able to come up and meet the challenge and cut the lead in half.
Couple big 3rd down plays. I think that wasn't that long pass to Ashman, a 3rd down, and then the touchdown.
Ferguson showing his composure and his leadership ability, as Paul will show his leg now with it teed up at the 40. Nice boot. Kyle James from inside the 10. Kyle to the 20. Brought down at the 24, a flag thrown at the 32, but I'm not sure that's the spot of the infraction. They'll move the flag up probably at around the 25. Indeed, that's where they throw it with 34 seconds left to go in the quarter.
Carlton McGrady on the hit. McGrady, that's a famous Reynoldsburg name.
He's the younger brother of Cornelius McGrady, who 3 years ago, I believe it was, took a touchdown back to start a contest on a kick return, some 80 yards for the Reynoldsburg Raiders in a game that we had here on Sport TV. Legal blocked the call on Pickerington, so they'll start backed up. So now momentum is switched to Reynoldsburg after that touchdown. The fact that the Tigers are backed up inside their own 15-yard line.
Randy, I know we've done a lot of these games, but I'm trying to figure out
On
when
receiving team,
they started the
first
opener.
down.
As it being the opener between these two teams.
Been a number of years. You should check out the Kickoff Classic. Great little logo. I'd like to thank all the folks over at Bryant Heating and Cooling and Bob McDoran. I call Bryant Heating and Cooling. They give me a good price and a good deal. Bob McDorman, a fixture on the east side for years. Hand off to Trapasso, and there is nothing there. maybe to the 12-yard line, and that is it. Under 30 seconds left to go here in the first quarter.
That's right, in that 4-4 defense, usually you have defensive linemen on the outside shoulder of the guards. It's very tough to reach them. What you have to do is sacrifice a tackle blocking down or try to double team, and that frees up one of those linebackers.
Looks like Oldigan has some plays written perhaps on his left arm because he gets the signals from the bench, and then appears to be looking at the band on his left arm, and Dustin brings him up to the line of scrimmage.
Here's that unbalanced set again.
See if Reynoldsburg burns a timeout this time.
They might have in the
Or
quarter.
Pickerington. That's the end of the quarter. You're right. That'll do it. 12 Rock'em Sock'em minutes, 3 touchdowns on the board. Pickerington with one more than Reynoldsburg, and after 12 minutes, Pickerington, the home team from Crew Stadium, on top 14-7. This is the second annual Ohio High School Football Kickoff Classic, exclusively on Sport TV. Welcome back to Crew Stadium. A nice crowd here. This place seats about 25,000. Hats off to Jim Smith and everybody at Crew Stadium for, again, putting together this nice little classic here on their home turf. And Mark McCullers, of course, and company. Handoff goes to Adams out across the 15 to the 16-yard line. Really, the turf looked outstanding until earlier this week, and then the turf kind of went bye when NSYNC had their concert here and kind of chewed up a bit of the turf. Stats after 12 minutes. Rushing yardage pretty close, plus 20 for the Raiders in passing yards. There you see Ferguson 6 of 11. That one turnover that led to a touchdown for Pickerington, and 3 penalties so far in this contest. Third down, just about 5. Pitch goes back to Adams, tries to turn the corner. There is nothing there. The ball's free, but they say he was down before the fumble. Hit made on the play by Paul Luttrell coming up from the secondary.
This time they ran unbalanced, but they had their halfback set to the short side. They came back to the short side, hoping Reynoldsburg might adjust. 2 men actually went after the quarterback, so it was an excellent job of the linebacker scraping off. Actually, the outside line was cornerback, making a super hit there, Paul Luttrell.
I mentioned Paul on the hit, and Mr. Luttrell, by the way, a 3-year letterman now. Young man that likes history. As you look at big number 2, Mr. Hamilton, as they set for the punt now from Jeff Jablonka. Standing at his own 5-yard line.
Look out.
It is high, but it's going nowhere. Exit stage right. And let's see where they mark it out of bounds. They come back upfield. Inside the 30, around the 28. So Reynoldsburg now, after being down 14-0, they've cut the lead in half, and with 10:41 left to go here in the half, a chance to perhaps get another touchdown and make it a brand new game. There's Jack Johnson, year number 29. Before that, 3 years at the Fairfield School for Boys. In fact, at the end of May, announced his retirement, but wanted to consider his options, and opted after the 60-day waiting period to come back and stay not only as football coach and as a teacher too.
I'd say teacher and then football coach.
In that order.
He is a one heck of a teacher. Everybody I talked to this is my favorite teacher, Mr. Jones.
Ferguson looking for Spike, a little too strong coverage on the plate by Jablonka. And the reason why Tom says that is Jack didn't know if he should come back again. And he actually had a conversation with Jim Tressel, who reminded Jack that sometimes coaches can be coached, and that his sole reason for being there is not just to worry about football. And Jack knew that, but he was just reminded that they are molding young people, not only the student athlete, but just the student. And Jack said, you know what? I'm rejuvenated and I'm ready for the challenge. And he thanks Jim Tressel for just reminding him of that. I think Jack would have remembered that anyway. Second down and 10. Spike in motion. He's got it inside. Gaps to the 26-yard line, then ripped down there. Looks like Reed helping out to make the hit on the play.
Reed did make a nice hit, Randy. An excellent block by Bowman. There's another familiar name, Bowman from Reynoldsburg.
His brother John was a captain back in '98 and a linebacker to boot. Take a look.
Now, this Bowman, number 78, is a lot bigger, and you can see when he hits you, you move. But there's a swarming Tiger defense.
Yeah, Jesse Bowman is a mere 6'3" and 270 pounds. Probably the best run blocker on the line. Ashman to the top, Fillmore to the bottom. Third down. You see they need 7. They've got 9:58 left in the half. Foster the lone back. The pump fake. Ashman going long, plays the ball all the
Nice
way, makes
catch.
the catch. He watched the ball, the defenders watched him, and Ashman makes the play. The 6'2", 175-pound junior cuts the lead to 1 with 9:48 left to go first half.
And you'll see on the replay, this was just a two-man route. They were going to try to work both outside receivers, keep the tight end in, keep the wing back in, keep the back in. Plenty of time to fake. Usually by then there'd be pressure on the quarterback, but with everybody staying in, there wasn't any pressure. And how about this concentration? This is a big-time catch. Perfectly thrown pass.
And Tom, again, I said, George was the only guy that saw the football. The Pickerington players were looking into the eyes of Ashman at the time. Chance to tie now for Paul.
Pickerington almost blocked that first extra point. Let's see what happens here.
Snap, the kick is up. They nearly block it again, but it is good. And now with 9:48 left to go in the first half, a brand new game at 14.
Yes, indeed. That's a heck of a combination. We may have to do some double covering. Pickerington may have to do some double covering on Ashman.
There's George and the 26-yard reception for the score. Take a look one more time. And again, watch the concentration of George.
Oh, I hope the young people out there saw both hands on the football, eyes on it, brought it into his body, accelerated. 6.
Looked like you in your playing days.
He got off the ground, though, Randy.
That's true. That was a 3-play, 29-yard drive after the short punt. 53 ticks were taken off the clock. Ladies, how you doing?
Yeah.
I want to see them wear that outfit in November.
Or next week.
I hope they can wear it next week.
No, not in school.
I see what you're saying.
Not
Talking about next Friday night, week 2 of the season, and yes, we'll have a game every week here on Sport TV, and production partners will also produce a game as well. Fairbanks and North Union, their contest this week. 9:48 left to go. Paw to kick it off, tied at 14. And he booms one.
Boy, it must be a bigger win than we think, Randy, because all the kickoffs going left, or our right to left, have been almost in the end zone, and the other one was short.
And the kicking game could be a factor in this contest. It's been very important in the past. We talked about McGrady with a touchdown, touchdown on a kickoff return to start a game. Also, I go back to about 10 years ago or more when there was a ball lying loose in the end zone, and Pickerington on the receiving end, and nobody went after the ball. And a young man by the name of Glass for Reynoldsburg covered the ball in the end zone, and that was the difference in the contest.
I remember that. Talk about being very important. This particular series is for the Tigers.
Kyle James to the top. It is Adams. It gets the line of scrimmage, and that is it. Also thanks to Tom Heil, while we're thanking people for everything that he has done to put this classic together. Really the driving force behind this game. And they set it up last year, and there's a great job defensively by Reynoldsburg to stand Adams up at the line of scrimmage among the guys in there to make the hit. You saw
Kramer.
big number 51, and that is Jordan Kramer.
And Strausser, 61.
Yep.
The linebacker and defensive end on the left side.
2nd down and 9. Backs are split behind Alderton, who wants to throw this time. Pressures on, rolls away, and decides to tuck it and get up across the 25-yard line with 9:03 left to go here in the first half, tied at 14.
Same route they scored the touchdown on. A little hitch by the outside receiver. The inside receiver, Kyle James, was heading for the flag. That was on the left side, though. Alderton's trying to direct traffic here, but the pressure just was too much.
Mark the ball at the 27. It'll be 3rd down and just more than 3. What kind of play do you look for from the Tigers here with Chablanca going wide to the top of the formation and Tiefenthaler, the tight end, to the bottom? Also to the top, you got James.
I think they're going to maybe run to the right. Not now. Sweep. They'll run down sweep.
Maybe they'll go to the left. Not this time. Pressure by Jason Cephas.
Probably could have run to the right because Cephas there was attacking on the snap of the football. Now, had they been able to block him, they had him outflanked, you'll see. But, boy, what a shock. What a shock for Harris. And, boy, does Harris have the speed. Probably the fastest kid on the Pickerington team. I remember him from last year's freshman team.
He's 5'8" and 140, but a sophomore is Ike. But that guy making the big hit there. Jason Cephas, the outside linebacker. 5'7", 167, and a senior. Chablanca the punt. Better leg this time. Taken by Fillmore with the bobble at the 50. Gives ground, 45, no. Fillmore 40, 35, 30, 20, 10. Brought down inside the 9-yard line. The bird is coming back.
Isn't that the truth? It was an excellent punt. But once the man ran to the sideline, he was led by number 45, Melvin Griffin.
The cousin of Archie Griffin, 40 yards on the return.
Fillmore, almost broke it. You'll see Fillmore bobble a little bit. There, right in his face. Supposed to use your hands to catch it. Gave a little bit of ground here, and now he looks like clear sailing. There's 2 men back. Griffin drills the first one right out of bounds. Right there, look at Griffin, number 45. And that only left 1 man, the quarterback, to save.
There's Fillmore, first and goal from the 9-yard line with 8:17 left to go. Ferguson, pressure on, back down across the 15-yard line. Blitzing through that time.
Jeff Frank.
The big guy along the front who played nose last year, now a defensive tackle and a 2-year starter.
Very hard-nosed, smart, intelligent kid. His brother played here. Look at him shoot through. Right when they need a stop, he's in there.
And that's what the 50 defense can do. If you've got a nose guy that can create a situation where the offense has to think double team, you're already at least up 1 or maybe 2 guys in that line.
Without a doubt, and they interchange some of those nose guards. They got another kid, Brian Williams, that's forcing double teams as well.
Second and goal, but the ball now back at the 15 with 7:38 left to go in the first half, tied at 14. Ferguson looking for Fillmore. Pinpoint pass, and it's complete. He pays the price at the 7-yard line. Wow.
That was delivered right on the money, and excellent concentration once again by Fillmore. He shows he's more than just a special return man. The slant route, they've been going outside. Now they decide to come back inside, and you'll see Jablanca almost gets a hand on it right there. Nice coverage. Great catch.
James making the final hit. Third down and goal from the 7-yard line. Well, they went to the tight end last time when they had a third down situation on the other end of the field.
Out of the same formation. It's a different tight end, however.
Ferguson wants to throw and gets the ball. Look at Fillmore, made the catch inside the 2-yard line, but it'll be 4th down with 6:48 and ticking. Do you think touchdown? Do you take 3?
Let's see how close it is, Randy. I think with the momentum in Reynoldsburg's favor and the field position that they have, it's only 1 yard. I think they're going to go for it.
It was deflected.
It was. It looked like someone got a hand on it. Maybe number 41, Hill.
Darrell Hill got a paw on the ball. Timeout taken by Reynoldsburg. Each team has burned 1 timeout. They have 2 remaining. 6:31 left to go in this first half. And I don't want to say mid-season form, but a pretty exciting game tied at 14 as Tony Pusateri looks on. Take a look at this one more time. See if 41 gets a glove on the ball
vertical
here.
Jump here. Hill way up in the air. And then you talk about the tip drill. Look at that concentration by Fillmore. That's why you work on those drills.
Listen.
You understand? Outside backers. If you get a tight end, man up on it. Man up on it, no matter what. Don't even touch your helmet, just do it. Right? Let's get that right. Everybody got it? Stu, just drive that center straight back. We're in cruiser. Split. Split. No.
Stu would be Stuart Reed, the inside linebacker. And again, they're reminding him, Tom, to watch the tight end because Charlie Martin caught that touchdown pass the last time they had a chance to score inside the 10-yard line.
And that's an excellent defensive coordinator, Jay Sherrod. He's been with the Tigers probably a decade now, and from first-hand experience, I realize he really comes after and puts a lot of pressure on offense.
Fillmore about a mile wide at the top of the formation. Wings to the top and the bottom with Spike and Foster. Parrish behind Ferguson. 4th down and 1.
Oh, motion.
Inside, touchdown, but there's a flag down at the 3-yard line. Tom talked about the motion.
Bring out the field goal.
6:29 left to go, and it looks like it'll be 4th down and 6.
Now, how can coaches last that long knowing things like that are going to happen? Boy, that's got to drive Coach Pusateri crazy. He was in by 5 yards, wouldn't even needed the block.
Take a look.
You see the motion, man. You can't go forward until the ball is snapped. I don't think anybody even touched number 40 there. Parrish, the senior.
Illegal motion at the snap on the offense. Repeat 4th down.
All right, so now if you're looking field goal, it would be a 23-yard attempt.
A little bit off center, too, off from the hash. This isn't a gimme by any means. Pickerington's been putting a lot of pressure on these kicks.
But it's only 3 yards longer than an extra point.
Sideways, though. That's the trick.
Claw to attempt at the snap. The kick is up, and it is good.
Yeah.
23-yard field goal with 6:25 left to go. And Reynoldsburg now on top of this contest, 17-14 after trailing 14-0. And Reynoldsburg replacing a great kicker last year in Ben Fawcett.
The momentum has shifted. The momentum has definitely shifted in favor of the Raiders. But with 6 1/4 left to go before half, I think Pickerington realizes that if they can get the ball, move it down the field, possess a little time, put some points on the board, that they'll be fine.
And again, don't forget, coming up at halftime, we will take a look at the stats, be entertained by both high school marching bands, and hopefully talk to Mike Collins, one of the driving forces, president and owner of Promotions 1, helping to put on this game here tonight. Actually a double dip, as we said, because Dublin Sada and Westland played in the first game. Tom, as a coach, what would this mean to you to have your team the chance to play in a game like this to start the football season?
It would be a great boost, a morale builder all through the winter and conditioning programs. The only thing is I wouldn't want to play my biggest arch rival the first game of the year, and I really think that's going to be tough for both these coaches to bring their teams back week 2.
Paul with the kick. This time it hangs. Manilak coming back across the 10. Manilak looking for a seam. Forget it. He goes down at the 18, but there's a flag at the 20-yard line. The clock is down to 6:19 left.
Well, it sure wasn't on Chris Horton's block. He just drilled the Reynoldsburg pursuer. That opened it up a little bit, but excellent pursuit by the Raiders kickoff team.
It's a clip on the offense. So this has been the trend recently for Pickerington. After a fast start, they've had to struggle with the ball deep in their own territory.
Yes, they have, and they're really an offense that's kind of built on ball possession, 4 or 5 yards of cloud of dust, so to speak. They did have the big play on the pass, but really, they need field position to be successful. They're not. Well, look at this. Right there's the clip, and there's the tackle. We mentioned Miles, Adrian Miles in on the hit.
So it's first and 91 with 6:19 left to go. And the other thing that Tom was alluding to, whenever you have a ball control team, you have to milk the clock and move it in a series of plays. The longer you have to hold on to the ball, the more chance you have to turn it over. The handoff goes to Trapasso. Furrows his way out across the 12, maybe near the 13-yard line as we approach 6 minutes left to go in the first half.
And that's kind of the Tigers' offensive plan. Get 4 yards if you can every play and just keep moving those sticks.
Although they did get a big touchdown pass, don't forget to Kyle James in this contest. That went 69 yards. The other touchdown set up by a turnover as Trapasso took it in from 4 yards out. But Reynoldsburg has scored the last 17 to lead by 3 with 5:49 left to go in the half. They need a half dozen. Option. Adams, can he turn the corner? Out to the 14, maybe the 15, perhaps lunging forward to the 16, but a couple of Raiders waiting for him. Actually, there were 3 guys there in Hamilton, along with Goglin, also Strasser.
Excellent read by Hamilton, flowing to the football. Oh, great. There's the pitch. Nice block by the halfback, but the pursuit of the Raiders. They have some great team speed on defense.
So it's now 3rd down. The ball at the 16-yard line. They need about 3. 5:10 left in the half. Young Dustin Aldigan is the man that runs the show this year for Pickerington. It's Adams. Can he find the opening outside? Tries to fall forward, but a great grab on the play there by Joe Strasser. And let's see how close he is to the sticks at the 19-yard line.
It's going to be very, very close, and that play was designed to go off tackle. It was a nice job of Adams bouncing at the outside, but like you said, you're right, Strasser wasn't fooled. Right there's the dip move that made the first down, and a great effort by this Adams kid. He is very impressive. Not too many people got to carry the ball last year besides their superstars, and this kid is really showing something.
Well, Tom, they only have about 60 yards in total offense back from last season.
Yes.
A team that went 11-1, so you know they've got some new faces out there. There you see the first down situation in this contest. On first down,
Screen.
underneath, deflected. A great job of going up by Chijoki Amati, the outside linebacker / defensive end who likes architecture and drawing.
That's true. It looked to me like they were going to try to let the Raiders in. One of them wasn't fooled, and it just results in an incomplete pass. Fortunately, that ball was being thrown forward. Yeah, you're right. There's that wristband, Randy. Getting a signal in, going with it.
So after the great play by Amati, it's now 2nd down and 10 with 4:38 left to go. James wide to the top. Henry to the bottom. Adams readjusts. Aldigan wants to throw. Dustin finds a seam, but now finds pressure and never letting go on the play is big number 36, the nose guard, Tommy Goglin.
Goglin's played a very solid game up the front there, and really, they had a man open. Pickerington slid the halfback out into the flat, but because of this super play by the nose guard, nothing doing. Goglin.
So it's now third down with 4:07 left to go. They need just more than a dozen. And right now, if you're Pickerington, you want the first down, but one thing you don't want to do is give Reynoldsburg back the football on the other side of the 50-yard line.
Right, and stop the clock. So you may see that draw play out of the shotgun again. Raiders are coming after him, though. Pretty dangerous. 3rd and 12.
Look at that. At 9 guys near the line of scrimmage. Now they've
automatic. Now the Raiders are dropping off right
quick
into
pop.
the
Incomplete. Looking for James at the 17-yard line. Pressure coming up defensively by Jason Cephas. Big number 7 on your screen right there, and that'll set up a 4th down with 3:38 left to go. And a reminder, each team with 2 timeouts left in the first half. Take a look.
Coach Hundley did a nice job. Everybody looked like they were coming, so Altica all audible to that play, but at the last minute, the defense shifted out to the flats. Cephas was there.
Jablanca standing at his own 2. High, not that long. Wow.
Not much of a fair catch signal, but I guess it was good enough.
Fillmore dives forward to the 41-yard line. Well, the scenario that Pickerington did not want to see comes to fruition with 3:36 left to go in the first half. The Raiders have the ball at the Tiger 41. They get 2 timeouts left here in the first half. Do you think about putting it on the ground, or do you keep it in the air?
Well, I think they're going to keep mixing it up, and I definitely feel they have confidence in the passing game. They've had time to throw the football, which is something that they really need, and they have a couple excellent receivers, at least 2, in Ashman and Fillmore.
And Martin, the tight end, so they have 3, and those 2 wideouts, though,
They look on
are
the line
twins
of
to the
scrimmage.
bottom. Foster in motion. He gets the pitch. He tries to turn the corner. Pickerington tries to spread it out, and they make the hit at the 40-yard line. Maybe 1 yard on the play. Among the guys knifing through for the Tigers was Jake Keener.
He sure did. Tough kid.
There you look at the Tiger defensive signals being sent in. They stay in their
Stay wide.
50 defense, although at times it looks like a 40, Tom.
Yeah, especially today with the 4 receivers. They've been a lot of 4-man fronts, and you almost have to be when they only have 1 back.
And a timeout taken by the officials on the field with 3:05 left. We've got an injury to Keener.
Yeah, he must have been shaken up on that tackle, and I know.
It's his left leg as he's hopping off. You can see on your screen he's getting some assist now from his teammates. Keener, listed as defensive back, pretty much plays a cornerback position. That's a famous name in Pickerington history. Yeah. Also Sarah Keener, a great basketball player for Dave Butcher and company. George Ashman, what he's done so far in this contest. What a 1-2 punch, because you put Fillmore in that mix as well as a wideout. And remember what Fillmore did too on that punt return, taking it back some 40 yards. Ashman to the bottom, Fillmore to the top. Second down, they need 9. Ferguson with the pump. Rolling, looking long, trying to dart it downfield and just throws it away. Good coverage there on Fillmore. Also, not a whole lot of room on that side, so they'll set up a 3rd down situation with 2:42 left to go in the half.
Same formation they made a big play on earlier. They only send out the 2 wide receivers. I think Ferguson may have read the wrong one. They had double coverage to the top and only single coverage down here to the bottom of the screen.
One thing we might see later in this contest is a throwback the other way. Also, we haven't seen a screen pass yet, too, as you look at the 3rd down conversions for Pickerington. Reynoldsburg each have converted 4, and Pickerington has had 1 more opportunity. 3rd down, Reynoldsburg would like to move it here with a chance to score again before the end of the half. They've scored the last 17 points. Again, a wing to the top and bottom. Ferguson taking his time here. Taking too much time, perhaps.
Quite a bit too much.
Call it delay of game and move it back 5 with 2:42 left. And don't forget, fans, we're going to try to get each head coach here at halftime, too. We'll try to get Tony Pusateri as he heads off at the half. We'll try to get Jack Johnson as he comes back out to start the second half. Concentration, dedication. That's high school football. You can tell these kids that it's 2 games before Labor Day. They don't care. They just know that it's football season. Third down. They need 14. Ferguson on the straight drop. Pressure on. Looking outfield for Fillmore, and just overthrows him. The Tigers were coming, and Ferguson with maybe too much arm for Fillmore. And now it's 4th down and 14.
Boy, he'll be thinking about that one for a while. Nice route, little hitch and go. Get the defensive back to bite. Turn it to the outside, but overthrown.
Look at Ferguson. Read his eyes. You can see him looking for Fillmore, and look at Fillmore, the frustration.
My name in the paper. Again.
Yeah, I was going to say again. It's already guaranteed after
right.
that 40-yard punt return.
Again.
And a couple of great catches inside the 10. Paw standing back at his own 41-yard line. A flag now comes on the field. Reynoldsburg did some late substitution.
Right. Not critical at all this time. Matter of fact, it may be better off this way. With an excellent punter with the wind, they may want to back it up 5, and they sure didn't want to try to hustle something and get a punt blocked. Not a bad decision.
Repeat 4th down.
So with that penalty, we'll repeat 4th down and move it back 5 more yards. Technical name, of course, is substitution infraction, but Reynoldsburg there moving back and forth with players at the last minute. So now they have to punt from their own 49, and Paw standing back at his own 36. Nice kick. Manilak from the 19 to the 20. The short side out to the 25. 2:28 left to go. All right, if you're Pickerington, you'd like to make a statement here. You're going to get the ball, though, to start the second half. What kind of mix would you like to see from the Tigers right now to try to get something on the board?
You're right. With 2:20, I think I'd try to run and see how we do, and then probably just try to run out the clock. Nice job by Andre Walker of closing in on that punt. And Manilak is another Pickerington name of famous descent there. He's had some very outstanding athletes in his family.
Had a brother we covered just a few years ago here on Sport TV. 1st and 10 for the 25 for Oldigan and Company. His dad, by the way, Craig, outstanding basketball coach. Assistant at Pickerington High School. Adams trying to turn the corner. Now, I'll tell you what, it's a nice play, but you have to have outstanding blocking, because if you're going to try to turn it that wide, you got to make sure there's 2 offensive guys and only 1 defender on the corner. Adams with good hands.
You better put someone on number 2, Larry Hamilton, because he is all over that field from his linebacker spot, and there he is again.
LeRae coming up to make the hit. 2nd down. Oldigan, plenty of time, now runs out as Goglin comes after him, decides to tuck, gets up to the 27-yard line, and that's it. The one thing we haven't seen yet from Pickerington so far is they're tied in and looking for that pass underneath. Let's see if they do that and maybe borrow a page from Reynoldsburg. They scored that touchdown pass to Martin. It's 3rd down with 1:44 left to go here in the half.
Right, they've actually gone to a 3 wide out set, taking Tiefenthaler out.
Oldigan looks.
It's
deflected.
up in the air,
And it's incomplete. In and out of the hands, it looked like, of Amadi, who had a chance for it at the 21-yard line.
Yes, he did.
Shijoki is saying, oh, give me one more chance.
Yeah, what was that thing coming down from the sky? Oh, darn.
Infield fly roll in effect here. Take a look.
It looks like the quarterback stepped up a little bit too far in the pocket. That might have hit somebody right in the head.
I think that was William Strait, who was part of that pass play. The deflection. Blanca with Jabut, and gets across midfield and takes a Tiger roll across the 40 and exits around the 39-yard line. 1:21 left. If you're Reynoldsburg, you still have 2 timeouts left. All right, I put you on the other sidelines. If you're Tony Pusaturi, what are you trying to accomplish here?
I think 3 points would be nice. You have an excellent field goal kicker. You're right. You do have a couple timeouts left. You have the wind at your backs.
And bottom line, you have a proven passer, too.
Very true. And they had a man open the last pass and just didn't connect.
And we talked about Pickerington being a young team, only 1 starter back on offense, and sharing about 6 players on offense and defense. Kind of rare to see at times now in D1. Reynoldsburg trying to go to a full 2-platoon system. 1st and 10. Foster in motion. So is Ferguson. So is Reed after him. There's the throw, takes the hit. Fillmore catches. And he's out to the 50-yard line, but he's out of bounds at around the 49 with 1:12 left to go. Ferguson took a solid shot to the midsection.
Yes, he did. The design was to get Ryan Foster open out of the backfield on an out and up. Pickerington secondary didn't bite, so alertly Ferguson threw to his safety valve man, and they still picked up, I think, enough for a first down.
They're going to check it out. The ball's right by the sticks. With 1:12 left to go here in the first half, and Pickerington scored the first 14, but Reynoldsburg scored the last 17. There's the measurement, and it is a first down according to Brian Spangler.
First down, Reynoldsburg.
1:12 left to go. The ball at the Raider 49-yard line. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, Brian Stevens and his crew from Reynoldsburg, Michael Sewell and his gang from Pickerington, our gang up here, including Mike Collins, Tom McDonald, yours truly, Randy Reinhardt. We talk football and this classic, the stats and more. Ferguson, the quick pop for Fillmore, makes the catch. One of those catches where you say, that's a nice catch, but I don't know if we need it right now because it moves the clock, but barely moves the ball. It gets it down to maybe the 48, perhaps a pick up a 3 on the play.
And runs off 20 seconds off the clock. So, no, that was definitely not what they wanted. But you have to set up the deep hitch and go. You have to, nice catch again, though. Great concentration. You have to throw the hitch to be able to complete the hitch and go.
Keeps him honest on second down and 7. Ferguson, look out backside. He is hit, but throws it away at the last minute. Coming in unmolested on the play was Dave Daniel, one of the inside linebackers.
Only a junior, was not picked up. Look at that.
Ferguson, though, with good presence to know that Daniel was coming at the last minute and still do a good job of getting rid of the football. So it's now third down with 39 seconds left to go. They need about 7. They still have 2 timeouts left.
Third and 7.
This is where I look screen now because of all the pressure. I dump it to the wide side of the field.
Here's that formation. They keep everybody in, usually, and block it. Very tight receiver by Fillmore. He may be doing some sort of an out type route. Like out there.
Like there it is, but it's Ashman, and the pass too strong. Henry on the coverage, and now fourth down with 34 seconds left to go in the first half, and Reynoldsburg sends the punting team onto the field.
That was coming on. Yep, that's right. This is a good move, and I don't even know if I was Pickerington even bother fielding the football. Mostly bad things can happen with only 34 seconds left.
You're not feeling very opportunistic here in week number 1, huh?
Well, what I'm saying is, you know, you're going to catch the ball somewhere around the 10.
Wait till you get it in the second half?
Right. It'll have about 25 seconds left, and I'd like Pickerington's going to try to put the pressure on. Nice snap.
And he's running it.
Oh, my
Here
gosh.
comes Paw. He's got the first down. Paw, 30. Paw's got a touchdown. Ma likes it. Paw likes it. There's the score. 23 ticks for number 23. Add 6 more to the board. Speaking of 23, 23-14.
What a call. Incredible. And boy, Paw knows what to do with the football. Tigers sent 10 men. That one guy was left, and they had about 7 blockers on him. This must have been something they had worked on in film review of years past.
48 yards on the touchdown. Reynoldsburg takes a timeout. Their second. They have 1 left. Pickerington with 2 left. And let's see how the Tigers regroup after this. 23-14. Take a look. And look at our camera crew. They were there.
Really, it was mostly just Paw on the run. I didn't see much blocking. I don't even know if he was supposed to do it.
Great cutback, too.
Yeah, didn't look like they had that great blocking. It's just Tigers were going for the kick, the angle. You usually take that angle where that man's going to kick it. And you better have someone, though, staying outside to contain.
You know, I wonder if they gave him the timeout so he could become rested because he looks a little winded. He's still grabbing for some oxygen right now. Take a look.
See, look, they never blocked these 2 guys here on the outside, but he just outruns them.
Well, they sucked 9 guys in, Tom, and still he got to
10.
the corner.
Right.
There's only 1 guy back deep on that side and 1 on the other side for Pickerington, and that was it.
That wouldn't have been a good feeling. 9 against 1.
You know, if they took the timeout just to give Paw a rest, it's not a bad call because, you know, what, 23 seconds left, you have 2 timeouts, you can burn 1 of them.
Sure, or you could take a delay. It's just a little farther of a kick. Either way, if it wasn't for no time left in the half, you don't get to carry him over, why not use the time?
There's a snap, the kick, it is up, plenty of leg, it is good, it's a 10-point game. So Pickerington with the first 14, Reynoldsburg answers with 24 points. They lead by 10 with 23 seconds left in the first half. There's a happy group of Raiders. There's some lovely ladies.
What team would they be for? Pickerington.
They're the Raider fans along the far side.
Aren't they excited? They were here early too, Randy.
Well, that's the thing, too, about this kickoff classic. You got 2 games scheduled 4 hours apart. What a great day for high school football fans in Central Ohio. And each year, this classic grows bigger and bigger, and we'll talk with Mike Collins about that here at halftime. And I think a great job, too, of scheduling 2 classic games, too. You had Westland and Dublin-Scioto, kind of a west side rivalry. Then you have Pickerington and Reynoldsburg playing in the nightcap. And I think as this game gets larger, you might see more of an interstate rivalry, perhaps, in one of the second contests. Keep it local in the first game and maybe draw a big-name team from the Northeast and the Southwest to play a local team.
Sure is a beautiful place to watch a football game.
Kicking off that time was Chris Pennington. On the return, James runs out of real estate at around the 30-yard line. So Pennington that time kicking with the honors because I think Pa was probably getting a little rest. Happy birthday to Chris Pennington, by the way, who has a birthday. In fact, had it on the 21st. Here's Jack Johnson. And he's got to be concerned with the way his team has played here after that 14-0 start.
Especially when you factor in the conditioning factor where he's forced to use 6 or 7 people both ways, and Reynoldsburg isn't. So I think you're right. He is concerned. But he's been in this business long enough to know it. Little steps at a time, make up some ground.
Interesting to hear the comments of Tony Pusateri in mere seconds here as we end the first half. Trapassa with a nice hole out across the 35-yard line up to the 37 with 13 seconds left, and neither team showing the desire to stop the clock, so that should do it. Pickerington had the fast start. They converted after the turnover, but Reynoldsburg, like a house of fire, and a timeout with 1 second left. Wait a second.
Hold it.
Now the clock goes to 0, but wait a second. Our referee says stay on the sidelines, everybody. Let's see.
Coach Johnson seems to be walking off, but if there is...
I think Pickerington took a timeout, so Brian Spangler wants some time put back on the clock, in fact.
1 second. Put it back. Now, this is okay, though, because it gives Pickerington time for a Hail Mary if they so choose.
I think that's a great idea, too, because it's a learning experience during a football contest. We talk about the tutor that Jack Johnson is. I mean, here's a great learning experience to see what a play like this is like for not only Mr. Oldigan at quarterback, but the entire offense for Pickerington.
True. Of course, Reynoldsburg is not going to be fooled. They're going to stay very, very, very deep, so your odds are not the greatest by any means, but you're right, this could set up some experience a little later on, see what defenses there, prevent defense. You may get a look at, we always just like to get a look at Reynoldsburg's prevent defense, so we know what to prepare for if we had to score at the late in the game.
So it's the long odds on this play, long like, say, a guy taking a big punt back 48 yards for touchdown?
Right, never happens, especially the first week of these.
We'll see what happens here. See how deep the Raiders play. They've got a couple of DBs that are 15 yards off the line of scrimmage.
Looks like...
Gonna take a knee?
Right, I think maybe one of the players called timeout instead of the coaches.
That'll do it.
That's a smart move. That's a smart thing to do.
So Reynoldsburg comes on like a house of fire in that second quarter, and they lead this contest now by 10, 24-14. And both of these teams trying to make statements early here in the 2001 campaign. Remember, Pickerington has won 16 straight regular season games. Reynoldsburg, after a slow 1-4 start, has come on. They're a team that finished last year's campaign with a mark of 6-4. Raiders celebrating along the far side and talking to the crowd and everything. That's good to be happy, but remember, we've only played half of this contest. So let's make sure that they show their composure and don't get too excited. And for Pickerington, you have to say, hey, look, we were up early in this contest, 14-0. We can come up with the big play. We just have to make sure we get off to a solid start in the second half and come up with that big play like they did on the big turnover and how they got Trapasso to take the ball in from 4 yards out and set up a touchdown early. In fact, it was 14-0 Pickerington, it seemed like, before Reynoldsburg could turn around. Tony Pusateri is in year number 6, and starting this game, he had to be a little concerned with the way it started with his team down early, but he knew he had a lot of veterans on his team, unlike Pickerington, which is a very young squad. Joining us now is the head coach of the Raiders, Tony Pusateri. And Tony, what a difference a quarter makes. You're down 14-0 early. You come back, you're up by 10. What are your thoughts right now?
Well, I think you said it, Randy. You know, it's a veteran team, and then you hope that that's what happens. You hope that the veterans can turn it around for you. And obviously, Kyle Paul did a good job on the punt, and John and Mark and George made some great plays.
Was that a called play by you, or did Kyle do that on his own?
Kyle did it on his own.
Wow.
That's
Tom?
why he's the captain.
Tom?
That's what I thought, Coach. We were just going to ask you how you designed that fake punt. That was perfectly executed.
Yeah,
But
he did it all himself. I had nothing to do with that. He came to me and he says, Coach, I think I can do it. And I says, go ahead.
Can you talk about the play of Fillmore, too, and Ashman? The two wideouts have been tremendous in the first half.
Well, I think if we keep being able to run the football, they've got some good corners, but I don't think they can cover both guys and stop the run, so we're hoping that's what happens.
Tony, go talk to your team. Thank you very much. Tony Pusateri, the head coach of the Reynoldsburg Raiders. 24-14 the count at halftime. We'll take a break. Back with more here on Sport TV from the second annual Ohio High School Football Classic right after this. Stay tuned. Welcome back. We're at halftime. Reynoldsburg on top of Pickerington 24-14. Entertained now by the Reynoldsburg High School Marching Band under Brian Stevens in his 9th year, 168 on the field. This is music from the Broadway musical Jekyll and Hyde. This is called Dr. Jekyll. Reynoldsburg High School Marching Band, Assistant Band Director Tricia Beetler and Jody Shoemaker, the percussion instructor Gary Sweeney, the color guard advisor is Erica Strobot, field commanders Megan Favinger, along with Ashley Kruger and Brittany Lester. As we said, music from the Broadway musical Jekyll and Hyde. Solos by Marcus Spear, Ashley Kruger. Also a duet with Joe Watkins and Jason Watkins. They are twins, plus Marcus Spear on baritone and Ashley Kruger on mellophone. 6th annual car raffle is underway. The 2002 Honda Accord up for grabs. For ticket information, call 470-1180. The band will perform in a number of competitions, including the one at Highland on September the 15th. For more information on the band, you can hit them on the net at www.raidersmarchingpride.org. Back at halftime here with Reynoldsburg on top by a count of 24-14. I'm Randy Reinhardt along with Tom McDonald, and joined now by the executive director of this classic, Mike Collins. Mike, thanks for joining us, and what a day of football this has been.
This has been great, Randy. It's my pleasure to be here, but we're here because of a whole lot of people. Obviously, our friends at Infinity Broadcasting, the Q96, K95, and the Big Wazoo, the crew, Columbus Crew themselves, Bob McDormand and Brian Cullen Heating, and you guys at Inside TV and Sport Television. But what we've had is we've had 2 great local games with 4 great local teams. who I will tell you now that I've seen both sides. You've seen the playing field, but I've seen it behind with the athletic directors and the coaches, and how great all four institutions are to work with. Been exceptionally good.
And Mike, the preparation and the growth of this game. Talk about this. Last year you were walking. This year you're probably at about 80% speed, and next year bigger and better things?
Yeah, we hope so. You know, our goal was to get close to 10,000 this year, and it looks like with this game and what we did earlier that we should hit that. It's unofficial, but it looks pretty good. We'd like to keep taking this to the next level. We've almost doubled last year's attendance, number one. But I think the other thing is we have helped the crew identify themselves as a hub of this community for things in addition to their great soccer team.
Mike, could you give us a little insight on how you picked the teams for this year's class?
First of all, so everybody understands, we need to work with the home teams because they're the ones that need to make the decisions. So we speak with a number of home teams. Right. Our biggest concern are twofold. Number one is can we get recognition from our, get good recognition from the teams that are here, and secondly, who they are playing, will they travel well?
Any hints on who's going to be here next year?
No, but we've already had calls, to tell you the truth.
Is that right?
Based on this year's calls, we can make a lineup right now if we wanted to.
Well, you did an excellent job of picking them for this year's class.
It's great. Great teams, great coaches, great ADs. Great to be here.
Mike is also the president and owner of Promotions One, and we should also mention that his son, Ryan Collins, was a quarterback last year at Westerville North, and you wanted to get back at Jeff Logan and me because Jeff was talking about your son's diminutive size at quarterback at 5'6", right?
Well, the genetics, I didn't help him very much, so what can we say? He's got a big heart, a lot of guts, and it was a great team. So, that was a great game.
A lot of people here to thank, too. I know Tom Heil, Jim Smith, everybody with the crew.
Yeah, I mean, you got the Infinity Group with Heil and his crew, and then obviously Jim Smith, Mark McCullers, Scott DeBoulder are really just excellent people to work with.
Our thanks, too, to Sarah Urban, who works with you. She's done a great job. Quickly, your thoughts about this game, and what do you think we'll see in the second half?
Well, it's very interesting because we all know where the momentum sits. Now, we'll see what halftime does. How much air does it take out of Reynoldsburg? How much does it inflate Pickerington's balloon? That'll be the question. They got to find a way to stop Ferguson. There's no doubt about that.
From the Columbus Marathon to Red, White, and Boom to this event, you name it, and Mike Collins can run it. Apparently, there's more than one quarterback in the Collins family. Yeah. Mike, thanks for joining us here tonight.
Pleasure. Thank you. And thank all you guys at Sports TV.
It's been a great night as we're about to be entertained now by the Pickerington High School Marching Band under Michael Sewell in his 21st year, 307 on the field with the combined high school grouping of the drill teams and everybody with a musical instrument. Assistant band director is Rick Knapp, along with Mark Brulikar, Tim Cox, Lisa Lang, and Tracy Carter. The music of Andrew Lloyd Webber coming up. The auxiliary advisors are Tim Justice and Amy France. Percussion instructor is Chris Carmine. Field commanders Malia Redmond, Allison Rickett, Jonathan Brown, and Brad Southards. The color guard captains Molly Burgoon and Megan Bramer. The first song, Jesus Christ Superstar. Entertained here at the half by the Pickerington High School Marching Band. The music of Andrew Lloyd Webber, Jesus Christ Superstar, Everything's All Right. Solos by Sarah Roseal on horn and Lauren Buck on horn and Jeremy Oyer on trumpet. P.E. Azu, vocals by Allison Rickett and Molly Burgoon. Events coming up for the band. They've qualified for the State Marching Band Finals 19 of the last 20 years. They've received the highest rating 11 consecutive years. Went to the Orange Bowl in January of 2001. Will go to the 75th annual Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in November of this year. Then they hope to the 2003 Tournament of Roses Parade. Went to the 97 Rose Bowl Parade. We're in the 95 Macy's Parade. The 27th annual Pickerington Marching Band Festival is coming up September the 22nd at 4 p.m. The gates open at 2. 12 bands already lined up from around the state to perform. And today was their tag day. Thanks to all of you that made it so successful last year. It raised over $20,000. And now, after that prelude, this is the music of Andrew Lloyd Webber, and this is Jesus Christ Superstar. Due to the length of the prologue by the Pickerington High School Marching Band, we're going to have to take a break now, but thanks to Brian Stevens and the Reynoldsburg Band and everyone at Pickerington, led by Michael Sewell. We're at halftime. Reynoldsburg on top, 24-14. Who's the superstar of the second half? We'll find out. Stick around. Welcome back as we start the second half. Reynoldsburg on top of Pickerington, 24-14, and that's the way the ball falls as we get ready for the second half. And I'm Randy Reinhardt alongside Tom McDonald, and joining us down on the sidelines right now is the head coach of the Tigers, Jack Johnson. Jack, a rapid start up, 2 touchdowns, and then the turnaround by Reynoldsburg. What did you tell your team at the break?
Well, we're going to have to go back to our game. We got pretty sloppy. We're making too many mental mistakes out there, and guys hitting hitch and goes, and our secondary is getting outplayed simply because of mental mistakes. So we got to anchor our secondary and start playing a little bit smarter football.
Have you seen enough from your running game in the first half?
Well, no, not really. We only ran 1 trap play. We're going to have to start getting involved with a little more traps. They're putting a lot of pressure on the edge of us, and we're going to have to start figuring out how we get around that pressure from the outside.
Well, Jack, I'll let you get back to the team right now. I know you want to talk to them one more time before they start the second half. Thanks for everything you've done in preparation for this contest with Sport TV.
Okay, thank you, Randy.
Tom, take a look at this touchdown. The first score, this was Trapasso taking off the left side for 4 yards.
Right, that was right after the interception, and boy, it just looked like everything was going Pickerington's way at this moment.
In fact, touchdowns on their first 2 possessions. That guy scored the first one, and then after that, punt, 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 and then we hit the brakes. So after scoring the first 2 times, they didn't score the next 5 times. It was almost the reverse for Reynoldsburg. We'll touch on that in just a second as you peruse the stats after 24 minutes of play. And Tom, you look at the total yards, they favor Reynoldsburg by about 100 yards.
They certainly do, and even when Pickerington was up by 14 points, it seemed like the stats were favoring Reynoldsburg. So you knew it may be just a matter of time. Of course, the key turnover by Reynoldsburg kept Pickerington in the ball game, but the momentum has certainly shifted to the Raiders.
We talked about Pickerington and what happened for them. For Reynoldsburg, interception and punt on their first 2 possessions. Then on 4 of their last 5, they got 3 touchdowns and a field goal. And the one drive that they didn't score, they still had the ball out at midfield, so they really turned it around in the second quarter and beyond. All right, I'm going to put you in the huddle for Tony Pusateri. We know what happened in the first half. Jack told us what he's looking for in the second half. If you're the Raiders head coach, what do you want to see from your team up by 10 right now?
Well, I think you still want to see that aggressive defensive pressure. The one big play gave up on the pass, and then they had that short drive. So, but really, other than that, Reynoldsburg's defense has played outstanding. They have some kids that can run, get around the football. I hope they're going to, or I'm sure he wants to try to eliminate the big play, and it looks like they're in a lot of man-to-man coverage. So Pickerington may break a big play on the pass.
24-14 the count. Tony Pusateri looks on. Can he get win number 1 in week number 1? We'll find out together. Back with the second half of the second annual Ohio High School Football Kickoff Classic right after this. Stay tuned.
Happy anniversary.
Welcome back to Cruz Stadium in Columbus. And right now, it's not the home of soccer, but it's the home of high school football. They're digging it. Seniors, they rule. Good balance for both teams rushing the football. Just higher numbers for Reynoldsburg. Spike, 4 carries, 32 yards. Paul, 1 for 48. And for Pickerington, Trapasso, 7 for 29, and Adams 9 for 23. That's Robert McDavid. It looks like the quarterback for Pickerington last season. He's at Mount Union, who's got an ankle injury that's going to sideline him. I think he had a pin put in, but hopefully he can get back to being 100%. Receiving yardage for Reynoldsburg, Ashman 4 for 89 and a touchdown. Fillmore 4 for 27. Pickerington, 1 completion and 5 attempts for Aldekin. That was to James for 69 yards, accounting for their other touchdown besides the 4-yarder that you saw on the ground by Trapasso. Paw to boot it to start the second half of week number 1, exclusively on Sport TV. Glad to have you aboard. It's Manilak across the 20. Manilak up to the 24-yard line. Nice return by Ryan Manilak, and with 5 seconds gone in the second half, we'll see what happens for the Tigers if they change some things. We heard what Jack Johnson had to say. Again, you go to experience and the fact that he's got a lot of young players out there, especially on offense. 10 of the 11 are new starters.
This is very important, the first drive of the third quarter or of the second half, and I know they want to come away with some points.
First and 10. Ball just about touching the 25. Alderson going to throw. Dustin looks, pops, has Jablonka across the 35, across the 40, up to the 42. Again, that was the guy last season that scored on an interception on the last play of the game. It was 15-11. Pickerington was on top, but they picked off Ferguson when Reynoldsburg was trying to drive and score, and he took it the distance. We didn't try the extra point, and they won by 10.
Well, looks like those traps can wait. Let's open it up right off the get-go. Excellent call. Jablonka knows what to do with the football. Broke a tackle. Good delivery also.
And he's wearing number 1 this season, which was the number his brother Jared wore last season. Jeff used to wear number 81. First and 10 from the 42-yard line. 25 seconds in the second half. Cephas shows blitz, backs off. The passer off the left side across the 46-yard line near the 47.
Nice line surge on that play as well. Just an isolation play.
Pick up of 6 on the play.
Second down and 4 as we have played 47 seconds here in the second half. It's the pride of the OCC Ohio playing host to the pride of the OCC Cardinal. Alderson rolls right. Does he want to throw? Looking, dumps, and throws it away.
Does a smart thing. This was just a rollout pass. He had good protection for a while. Both receivers were well covered.
Look at the pitching pressure right here.
Well, not much so far. Then finally at the end, that's a good hit. I think
that's Amati.
Amati, right. Good coverage on the play by Paul.
Shijoki has had a really good game as a defensive end / outside linebacker for the Raiders. He's listed as a DE, but really at times he looks like a backer playing on the outside.
Tight coverage on the corners.
Yep. To Adams. He stumbles as soon as he gets the ball and gains maybe 1, perhaps 2, but it's going to set up a 4th down situation and at least 3 for Pickerington. They'll be forced to punt.
There's LeRae Hamilton again. He's just been all over the field, number 2.
The man that likes math.
Good.
He'll be able to count all the tackles he has after this contest.
I need a calculator.
Blanca standing back at his own 33. There's Jeff. Back deep, there's Mr. Fillmore.
Different punt formation. Whoa.
Booming kick. Fillmore retreats all the way back to his 13-yard line. Back foot to the 10-yard line. There's no flag. And gets it up to the 20-yard line, but the flag resting at the 13. Pickerington fans wanted the flag, and it did come. A bit of a delay, but 1:55 into the second half. We'll stop things and sort this out.
Looks like Reynoldsburg will be backed up. Good concentration on the football because that was an excellent punt. Of course, with 2 wide men on each side, Pickerington is going to contain the punt returns this half.
The one thing I've noticed about Fillmore, he's got great hands, but on the kick, sometimes he has a tendency, third time's the charm, to catch the ball high near his shoulder pads.
Right, you want to catch it in your hands. You don't want to catch it with your body, your face mask, or your shoulder pads. But you're right, that on the one he scored on or went all the way around.
Right.
He did, and this one was a little bit shaky as well.
Ladies, how you doing? The Pickerington Youth Athletic Association volleyball.
Great.
Strong out east.
All sports. Both these schools have excellent feeder programs in all sports.
Tony Pusateri, not only the head football coach, but also the athletic director at Reynoldsburg High School. Talk about tough duties and living sports a lot of the time. Tony has to do that, but also very concerned about academics as well. First and 10 from just past the 6. This is Foster to the top of your screen. And Submarine near the line of scrimmage, maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage, maybe only to the 5 as we played 2:05 of the second half.
run support by Chris Henry. He read his key and just attacked, knife through the fullback, and brought down Foster on the play for a gain of only 2.
Actually marked the ball back to the 5, so we did
lose
a yard on the play, so it's second down and 11.
Great effort by that secondary.
See what Ferguson can do. Actually, they're going to stay closer to a 2-yard loss. Will you put it up here? You're back near the end zone. Nope. Straight handoff, and there's nothing there in the middle. Karish gets to the 5-yard line. And it'll be third down in about 11 or 12 with 9:12 left to go third quarter.
Right, and when you're backed up with the lead, I think Coach Buscari is going to be fairly cautious at this stage in the game. His defense is playing well. Now the Tigers' defense is playing excellent. But if no one scores, he still comes out on top.
Tom, we go back to the game of field position. Early on, it would favor Pickerington, but they have to see if they can cash in. If they can hold here, then get the ball back, they should get it at least no worse than midfield. There's a big man at quarterback, standing nearly 6'6". Ferguson to throw, looking long, looking downfield for Ashman, and pass incomplete. Henry on the coverage, but again, Ashman watching the ball and nearly was able to make a play on that one. Now a punting situation for Paw and company. He'll be back to the end zone.
Good man-on-man coverage for Henry. Actually has no help. They're coming after that quarterback, and that forces single coverage. James and Henry have to try to do a great job on those 2 super receivers for Reynoldsburg.
Oldican, the quarterback, and Manilak back deep for this punt return, and that's been something we've seen down through the years with Prado, McDavid. The quarterbacks are sure-handed guys. That's one thing that Jack Johnson hates to see is the ball get by the punt returners. It's another 15 yards that happens, and he says it's another set of downs that he's got to script and make sure the team can execute. And a nice bounce for Pickerington as it exits stage right at around the 38-yard line. 8:28 left to go, and the scenario we talked about, the field position favoring Pickerington. They've got the short field. Can they cash in?
Good job by Paw not backing up on the out-of-bounds line, but his punt, because of his being forced to punt it from a little bit closer, didn't go very far.
Because of the hop, the ball is out to the 40-yard line. So on the punt by Kyle Paw, who recorded as a 35-yarder. So first and 10 now from the Raider 40, with Henry to the top, James to the bottom.
Last series,
taller the tight end.
Right, last series on first down, they went to the air. This is their shotgun formation. They have run the ball primarily out of it so far tonight, but this time.
Play action to pump, looking downfield for James, makes the adjustment, but lost the handle. It might have been out of bounds anyway.
Right, but that's what we talked about, Randy. Man-on-man coverage. Both teams are putting a lot of confidence in their defensive backs. There's no free safety help. If you get by one receiver, you've got a touchdown. Here's the Pickerington's answer to the pump and go. Ball was thrown nicely to the outside. Excellent concentration, good defense as well. Griffin.
Second down and 10 now from the 40-yard line. 8:22 left to go for Dustin Oldigan and company. Reynoldsburg showing blitz. Adams showing the handoff, and the official showing a flag at the 41-yard line. We had movement all over the place.
Right, but boy, that is so distracting for an offensive line, and probably someone moved when you have that faking, linebackers faking blitzes, and that's what you get when you have a veteran defense like Reynoldsburg does.
False start, the call on the offense, marching back 5 to the 45. How you doing, buddy? It's almost bedtime. I think you'll stay up later tonight. Second and 15 from the 45.
Great crowd tonight.
Well, I think they've exceeded their 10,000. I go back to my play now, too. The screen pass or the dump of the flat.
All right.
James and Henry, the wideout.
How about a flag to James?
Pressure on. There's your
screen. Let's see if it works. Coach
Reinhardt to the 40.
Oh,
a great open field tackle by Griffin. What a play, because if he doesn't make that stop, we're looking at probably 20 or 25 yards. Instead, it's a gain of 6. It'll set up about a 3rd down and 9 play with the ball resting inside the 39.
Nice call, Coach Reinhardt. I think you're correct. Had he broken one tackle, it could have been 6. We'll give you the benefit of the doubt there. Here it is on the replay. Nice job of dropping off, licking off the defense. Deep and taller, concentrates on the football, has a couple lead blockers out in front of him. However, Griffin, nice top.
And great penetration, too, by Cephas to make Oldigan pay the price after throwing the football. 39, 7:34 left. James in motion. Option. Oldigan finds his seam, but only to the 35-yard line. Now, I would think you could play field position football, but I'd be tempted to go for it here on 4th down and about 5.
Especially when you called that play on 3rd down. Yeah, there's a good chance that they already had predetermined that they are going to, and they're in 4-down territory, which made that a good call. I think if he had pitched that ball, they may have even fared better, not as well.
Trapasso wanted to come out, turns around, comes back in. As you look at the sticks along the far side, Rick Bryant standing right in front of him, our linesman for this contest. 4th and 5. Big play early in the second half from the 35 of Reynoldsburg. Pickerington down by 10. Oldigan rolling right. Looking. Throwing long downfield for James. Lofts it in the air. Griffin, great coverage. Caught by James, but he's out of bounds. Give it back to Reynoldsburg with 6:44 left to go. And they just ran out of real estate on the near side.
Right. Amandi putting the pressure all over Utica. And I'll tell you what, he had plenty of time. He was smart, though. Oldigan did not throw to the short receiver, which wouldn't have given him a 1st down, so at least they gave him a chance by throwing it up in the air, and it just turns into a jump ball, and James has great concentration, almost keeps both feet in bounds, and he was out.
It's been somebody, whether it's been Shijoki Amadi or LeRae Hamilton or Shane Carlson or Jason Cephas, but it seems like somebody's been shaking hands at the end of every play with Dustin Oldigan. 1st and 10 now for Reynoldsburg from their own 35-yard line. Wide outs to the top and bottom. Again, wing to the top and bottom. And Ferguson with a couple of conversations with his backs before we come up to the line. Now there's Foster in motion. Will he get the pitch? Not this time.
Right up the middle.
And the ball up to around the 41-yard line. A gain of maybe 6 on the play.
And you're running behind Bowman with his size. You can get quite a few yards just by going straight ahead.
Josh Bentley on the carry that time. They actually have 3 fullbacks. They have Ben Karish, Josh Bentley, and Marshall Davis that can play. We've seen primarily Karish in the first half, but Bentley, the 5'9" junior, is probably the quickest of the fullbacks. He's been a long-time member of the Boy Scouts, and he's got some good speed, and that time picks up 6.
Behind Nicodemus and Braden, among others.
2nd and 4. Spike in motion. Spike gets it. Spike gets to the 42 and gets grass at the 41.
Not much doing there. Ryan Howells, very tough individual, stayed low and defeated that play in the backfield.
Spike is a guy that was on the 4x800 relay team that was 2nd in the state. So he's a distance guy, but this time a short distance.
You're right. Howells was low and number 50, Reed was high.
Big play now for both teams, especially for the Tiger defense. Down 10, 5:32 left to go. You see total yards in this contest. Reynoldsburg up by about 100 yards so far in this game, where they've been for most of the last 2 quarters. Ferguson dumps over the middle, nearly picked off by Henry at the 46-yard line, but that means the Tigers will force the punt, you would think, by Reynoldsburg.
That's right, and they would think so too, but surprise, surprise. Great reaction by Henry. He was actually on another receiver a little farther out to his left, and he read the quarterback's eyes perfectly, and right there against the grain almost made a super interception. Boy, would that have been different. Ferguson's squad got off the hook on that one.
Now, Ferguson has not been shy at looking for that receiver, even if he's double covered. I think he feels he's got that pinpoint accuracy, and he's got the confidence that seems to build each year, now that he's a 3-year starter, to find the open seam, find the man downfield. Caught a punt from the 30. Booms it. Oldigan on the run. Dustin to the 25. Retreats back. Tries to spin around, and instead he spun around. Now finds an opening with a shoulder pad. Coming out on the right-hand side. He gets out to around the 30-yard line, helping to make the hit on the play. Number 52, Tim Kang, also Walker, helping to make the hit, and Oldigan needs to be dressed again.
Nice punt coverage. Oldigan really hustled, but they stayed in their lanes like you're taught. Reynoldsburg punt team, and look, maybe they missed a couple tackles, but they get right back off the ground. That overall pursuit that's been so successful for them on defense carried through on the punt team.
There's Andre making a hit on the plate. 1st and 10 now from the 30. How you doing, hon? Pitch to Adams. Blocked by Trapasso, out to the 35, maybe the 36-yard line. A good gain on 1st down, because Jack Johnson talks about the fact that if they're going to ball control, they're looking for about 4 yards a pop, and that time they get more than half the 10 yards they need, and they'll mark the ball out near the 36-yard line with 5:02 left to go, and Pickerington down 24-14.
Excellent to be in that 2nd down and short.
There is the ankle of Robert McDavid. We talked about the surgery he had to have. By having that surgery, it speeds up the healing process. It was the 5th metatarsal.
He's been bumped up before, but if there's anybody that can come back from it, he's my neighbor. I know he can.
Oh,
no.
it's free! And it's scooped up and then dropped on the play, but he's got the angle on the ball. That's Cephas, and lost again.
What's happened?
Who's got it now? Rugby breaks out, and Pickerington may have the ball back at the 15-yard line.
And since Cephas never had the ball, it's going to be 3rd down.
Not a change of possession, I don't think.
Not a change of possession.
She can't believe it.
Oh, my. Will he have nightmares about that one?
Jablonka comes up with the ball.
She's happy.
Hello, Betty.
Yes.
The ball back at the 16. Look at this.
Okay, yeah, it looked like the guards pulled into each other. And, boy, it looks bad news for Tigers there, but it must be greasy out there. Ball on that football.
Greasy as in the football or greasy as in Bob O'Brien?
Yes, the football. And Jablonka hustling back from his wide receiver spot saved a huge turnover.
3rd and 2 dozen. Trapasso on the delay. Gets a couple, and that's about it. Now the Tigers growling, but no action so far here in the second half as they're still down by 10. Take a look at this action one more time. Watch Tommy Goglin, number 36, going down low to wrap him up. Great job inside by the 2-year starter at nose.
And that field position that was favoring Pickerington toward the first part of this half has now shifted to the Reynoldsburg side.
And you talk about wrestlers, like you talked about Nick Burgess down at Pickerington.
Great
Mr.
play.
Goglin is a wrestler extraordinaire, qualified for states. But Chris Arp, who's out at Reynoldsburg forever, is one of the greatest strength and conditioning coaches I've ever met in my life. Putting time for Jablonka, not that high. He may get a bounce, and he does.
Hey,
and did
he
it touch that Raider?
Yeah.
It may have. Let's see.
Watch this
Who's got the ball?
Oh,
they say it goes to Reynoldsburg. Well, we have the replay. I wonder if it'll go on the jumbo screen here as well, too.
Let's hope not.
Ryan Spangler will sort it out. It may not have touched that player. It might have been the angle. We'll judge when we check out a replay. 3:07 left in the quarter. Take a look.
Doesn't look like it touches him, but it was close. Very close. Yeah, real close. What do you think, Randy? Referee Reinhardt?
I want to see it again. I don't know. It didn't look like it touched him. If it would have touched him, it touched him at the very beginning, not near the end. 1st and 10 from the 47. Ashman is wide to the bottom formation, wing to the top and the bottom. Karish behind Ferguson. Foster in motion. Ferguson wants to throw. Will he be allowed to? He rolls. Flag down at the 45. Guns it downfield for Ashman. Tipped around by James. But one of our referees nearly made the play as well.
Double coverage, James and the referee. But there was a penalty anyway. I think they're going to call hold.
All right, let's take a look one more time. Watch the ball.
To this next bounce, right?
Did it hit the inside of his right knee? That was my only question, or his midsection there?
Shoulder pad or something.
We're watching on a smaller monitor. If you're watching it on that 40-incher like Tom McDonald has in his family room, you have a better eye than we have, Dungadine.
Send your votes.
Our truck says it looks like it totally missed him, so the flag resting at the 45. It's going against Reynoldsburg, and we'll mark it back from that spot. Holding the call.
Truck has never been wrong, so we can guarantee you out there that that ball missed.
Can't be wrong. They hired you.
Hey, there you go. And boy, it's been a lot of fun tonight. This is a great atmosphere for the opener. And we have a lot of football left.
Tom McDonald, partner of mine for about 6 years after he stepped down at Groveport Madison. You'll see Tom this season, and probably see Jeff Logan, maybe Greg Fry among the analysts so far this year. Tom shaking his head. No, he wants to take it all. 2:58 left to go. On 1st down, there's Foster, finds the seam, spins off the football, it's free. 3 Raiders near the ball. I would think the Raiders have it at the bottom of the pile. It was 3-1 in favor of Reynoldsburg near the pigskin. And they do have it. Take a look.
I'm not so sure that Darryl Hill, number 41, doesn't cause this ball to come out with a vicious hit. No, that's
Henry.
That's Henry. Didn't wrap up, though, and Coach Johnson was concerned about that wrapping up. Who's on the recovery? Wasn't that big?
Might be McManus.
Zach McManus.
Yeah,
senior?
62. There he is. Looks like a running back.
He does.
Good job. Zach, you left tackle extraordinaire, 2-year starter, whose dad played football, ironically, at Pickerington.
So that's a couple huge plays in a row that have really been in Reynoldsburg's favor.
Second down and 19, and now they readjust. Now Fillmore is confused, so is Foster, and so is Ferguson, so we'll have a confab, which means a timeout to you and me, and Reynoldsburg burns their first. They have 2 remaining, and Pickerington with their full allotment of 3 here in the second half.
You know, there's been a lot of effort, especially defensively this quarter, and Pickerington hasn't dropped a step or two, but when you look at the clock now, there's 2 minutes left here in the third quarter. Pretty soon it's going to start being half to score time when you're 2 touchdowns behind.
Let's go into Pickerington defensive huddle again.
Second 20, everybody got that? Give him some cushion.
Watch the on-field presentation
You got to step out, screen right here. Right, screen. That's what you're looking for. You got that?
You'll also see who wins the most valuable
Put 5
player
feet,
award.
too.
I'm glad they didn't have that type of a camera when I coached to be able to listen into some of the things that may have been said.
Why? You were just motivational, weren't you?
Well,
did you call everybody buddy?
Well, it was always please for, you know, would you please watch the screencast, or would you please stop it?
Jack Johnson talking with Dustin Oldigan, going over offensively what he'd like to see from the Tigers when they get back on the field. They need to hold here on a couple of downs. Reynoldsburg needs to get a first down. They need 19 yards in the next 2 plays. Ferguson wants to go to the air, gets away from 2 guys. Reed's trying to hunt him down, and Reed wrapped him up as he threw the ball. They ruled the pass incomplete. It'll be 3rd down, and I think Stuart Reed thought he had him before he was able to throw the ball.
Looked that way, but regardless, it's still a horrible situation to be in if you're calling plays, 3rd and 20.
They want pressure, too, on the inside linebackers for Pickerington, no matter who they are, be it Reed or Adams or Daniel. All those guys are new inside because of graduation for Pickerington. They've done a great job here in the second half of stepping up and shutting down that Reynoldsburg offense.
That's right, but in the first half, Reynoldsburg's offensive line was pretty solid, especially in this formation where they like to throw the football.
Ashman and Fillmore, the wideouts.
Mr.
Russell inside. And there's a spike, and he's got the opening, and he's still on his feet. And Spike to the 30, to the 20. Look at the acceleration by Spike, and he stays inbounds for the touchdown. What a job, the misdirection, and Chris Spike, the 6', 185-pound senior, takes it the distance for a touchdown with 1:46 left to go. And just like that, you can add 6 more. It's 30-14 after that 62-yard touchdown run. They've got a Raider down on the field at the 20-yard line.
Yes, that's unfortunate, but that's 3rd and 20. The big play. Unbelievable. Great call. Pickerington was expecting the pass, hit that trap just around the left side, and boy, this kid can move, as we already had seen one other time. Nice
the old
kick
counter
out
tray.
block. Yes, it was.
Let's see if he went out of bounds. That was my only question inside the 10-yard line.
Slips through that tackle. Doesn't have the ball in the proper hand, but no one's going to complain tomorrow about that. This man can chug it.
Might be a moot point, but watch right there.
Hey, Randy, you may have been onto something.
Pretty close at around the 5-yard line. 1:46 left to go.
It's good to see Foster up. He was the injured player. Well, that foot, there was that one foot that was close.
Ryan Foster, 5'9", 187-pound senior, walks off under his own power. You've seen it now from a couple of angles. Watch the left foot again. Seems to touch out. He tries to bring it up as fast as he can. The tightrope.
Great camera work. See all those angles?
That's why they're the best in Central Ohio. And the fake. And they throw for 2. And the pass is dropped. Looks like they were looking for Martin as Paul Luttrell tried to toss the pass for 2.
Right.
That's incomplete, so now it's a 16-point game at 30-14.
A little bit surprising because I think the ideal, 17 points makes it 3 scores. But of course things have worked. But we'll see maybe another replay of that out of bounds to get an unofficial verdict.
Yeah, but I'm not sure how big this is. I mean, yeah, he went out of bounds. It looks like from this vantage point, from the left foot as it kind of slides with his toe there. Nevertheless, they're going to have the ball 1st and goal at the 6-yard line.
Run off even more clock. But like I was saying, that 17th point could loom huge, although Pickerington's going to have to get something going. Man was open. It's a nice call. And you know what that does if you fake one of those extra points in the first game? All the other teams that you play have watched it on tape or heard about it. And I think if you can do it without, risking a victory, then it's an excellent call.
There's Manilak. He's back deep with Oldigan. There's Paul ready to kick it off. Maybe Paul started to trend there with the fakes,
I think he did.
Booming kick. Manilak has to go 4 yards deep in the end zone, so we'll bring it out to the 20-yard line. The goal line is a barrier, like in bowling, when the buzzer goes off, you committed a foul. Same thing here in high school football. If you're new to the game, once it crosses the goal line on that kickoff, you can't return it. You got to bring it out to the 20-yard line. Mr. Manilak. Pickerington needs a little juice right now because, Tom, you alluded to the fact that 1:46 left. You get 2 touchdowns, 2 two-point conversions. You can make this an interesting contest at 30.
Right, I'm sure the coaching staff of the Tigers, Coach Lara and the rest of them, are pumping them up, telling them, hey, we're not out of this yet. Coach Whipple.
Keep it taller, the tight end to the top, and you've got James and Henry wide to the bottom. Aldicott looking downfield, looking for James, throws it up, and Griffin gets killed by James at around the 50. I'll tell you what, Melvin has been around the football when it's been deep. He has been there. He's had the solid hit, and he's got a great nose for the football. Sometimes when you say a guy has a nose for the football, you're talking about somebody at the line of scrimmage,
right.
But Melvin can do that 40 yards away.
And he had that super block on that punt return as well. He's an all-around football player.
Matt Johnson pondering the next move by the Tigers.
Of course, you saw who's the intended receiver, as is often the case, Kyle James. Now, he's had to cover those excellent receivers if Reynoldsburg hasn't had a rest at all.
Blitz by Reynoldsburg. Aldicott looking, throwing, and James trying to make the circus catch, and he can't do so. Even if he does, he's only 1 yard past the line of scrimmage. Reynoldsburg again setting the kitchen sink, and it'll be 3rd down.
We'll see on the replay, it's a pretty good effort by the quarterback even to get this ball off, and an excellent effort by the receiver, James, as well. But like you said, it would have only amounted to a 1 yard gain.
Get a big play here on 3rd down, and Reynoldsburg needs a great stop. And boy, when you go to Reynoldsburg defensively, Goglin, Amati, Kramer, Hamilton, Cephas, Paw, Griffin, they've all been solid. We'll pick a sports TV player of the game at the end of this contest. Central Ohio Sport Television will take a nod to each player. Wide open, Trapasso. He's got the 1st down.
Oh.
Motors across the 40. Paul makes the hit and stops him at around the 42 with 1:26 left to go, 3rd quarter.
Nice call on the part of the Tigers. They sent the 2nd man out into the weak side after play action, the boot pass. And very well executed in the flat concentration on the football by Trapasso. But Paul saves a huge play.
Nice job by A.J. Trapasso to make the catch, the 6-foot sophomore. His dad, as we said, played football in Walnut Ridge and gets his team a 1st down. And now he gets the ball on the ground, and he gets hit at the 44. The ball is free, scooped up by the Raiders, and they've got it at the 43-yard line. And it's Kyle Paul with the football.
Holy smokes, he's got magnets.
We talk about the Sport TV players of the game. There's a guy that may be arguing his case.
All consideration there.
One thing that Reynoldsburg has shown you in this contest, Tom, is so many weapons offensively and defensively. Fillmore, Ashman, Ferguson, Spike as a running back. Defensively, there's about 6 guys that have been stalwarts. The one guy I want to touch on again on defense was Shane Carlson and what he's overcome. Hopefully we'll have time to do that the next time the Raiders are on D. 1st and 10 right now. 1:09 left to go. The ball for 43. Handoff goes inside, and the Raiders will advance the ball inside the 40 near the 39-yard line.
That's right, and after you mentioned all those, let's not forget who the real men are up front with McManus, Braden, Nicodemus, Bowman, Getz, is it?
Yes.
Getz. Those people have done a super job, pass protecting and run providing.
Carried by Ben Karish. Had a great game against Darby last year. How you doing, sir? John Ferguson. There's a big guy in more ways than one.
Yes, he is.
Each year you hope a player makes fewer and fewer mistakes. And that's something that really is the book on Ferguson. He has improved each and every year. A starter quarterback as a freshman. Foster tries to spin away, lost the ball, but he was already marked down at the 36-yard line with 23 seconds left in the 3rd quarter.
A lot of spunk in Foster. The conditioning factor now getting it as we close the 3rd quarter. I don't think there'll be another play run. Pickerington will have the wind in the 4th quarter, but not the momentum.
Reed makes the hit, and this is the last play. We talked about conditioning and depth. Remember, Reynoldsburg playing 2 platoons, but Pickerington playing about 6 guys both ways, and they're down by 16. Do they have enough juice? Mr. Reed hopes so. 30-14 the count. Back with more on the 2nd annual Ohio High School Football Kickoff Classic right after this. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Crew Stadium in Columbus, Ohio. Reynoldsburg on top of Pickerington 30-14. Week number 1 of the high school football game of the week on Sport TV. A conversation between the brain trust of the Pickerington Tigers and Tony Pusateri. Natalie Attire along the far side looks on third down. Ferguson, forget it. He's going down. Take your pick. Among the first guys in there, number 37 looked to be Joel Davis.
I think Joel Davis did the main thing, and then Brian Williams, excellent football player, came from the backside.
Talking about Brian Williams last year against Gahanna, was in on 15 tackles and blocked the pass. And now fourth down for Reynoldsburg in just about 8. And Paw standing back to punt at his own 44-yard line. And James goes deep for Pickerington. You sense the air has gone out of the Pickerington crowd, and you wonder if the team feels the same way, but if they can make one big play, they still have a full quarter left here in this contest. Pressure on the outside, going for the block. Not this time. James calls for the fair catch. It bounces inside the 10 and makes it into the end zone. And guess who was down there?
Not Griffin.
Yep, Melvin was the first guy down there, but Paw's punt will go into the end zone, and Pickerington will get it 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. Take a look at the stats after 36 minutes of play. Reynoldsburg with 300 yards in offense. Look at the balance, Tom. 158 and 142 respectively.
You're right. Boy, it's starting to be noticeable. It kind of reflects the score. And the passing attempts, Pickerington really has not thrown the ball often. They threw a couple good passes, but now they're in a situation where they have to throw a lot more than they'd like, I'm sure.
It's almost 2-1 in yardage now in favor of the Bird. 11-11 left to go from the 20-yard line. Alderkin looking downfield, dumping for Keepin Toller, and he says he caught the ball, but the officials disagree. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
It's a great effort by Joe. Yep, I remember getting in trouble pronouncing his brother's name wrong. He was an outstanding defensive back. And I got to coach him the following year, Tiefenthaler. Let's see on the catch.
Brings up 2nd and 10 from the 20.
Oh, there it is. Point of the football hit the ground, it looked like. Then he brought it around and cradled it on the side.
How about that camera work?
Good job by the crew. Headed up by head of production and new business for Inside Communications, the one and only Drexel Yokoyama. Handoff inside, and it goes to Adams, who gets up to the 24-yard line. But you need to break a big one right now. If you're Pickerington with 10:55 left to go, you've got a 3rd down and 6 awaiting.
Nice block by Alfred, the center, or set the guard that play.
Big plays in this game. Well, you've got that 50-yard interception. You've got the 69-yard touchdown pass. James involved early. 48-yard touchdown run, 62-yard touchdown run by Paw and Spike respectively, and the 41-yard punt return by Fillmore. Those are your big plays so far in this game. Alderkin looking, trying to find the sticks, trying to find a receiver, trying to find a blocker. Now throws it up for grabs. He's got Tiefenthaler there. He makes the catch at the 40-yard line. Hangs it up there, and he makes the catch. The big play for the Tigers. Keep the drive alive at the 39 with 10:17 left to go.
Alderkin scrambling for his life. Very observant, finding Tiefenthaler down the field, and that was a huge play. Guys, when you're in man-to-man coverage, you have 8 guys responsible for the run. You stay on your man no matter what, unless that quarterback crosses the line of scrimmage. Reynoldsburg defender forgot to do that, and it cost them big.
Shades of Fran Tarkington and Bobby Lee there as he looked for his 6th option on the play, it looked like, and got the 1st down at the 39. About 10 minutes left to go, and we've got a flag flying. As they sort this out, I want to thank the entire Sport TV crew, too. Led up by our director tonight, the one and only John Nakauchi, who is the Cal Ripken of this crew, along with Randy Silcott. They've been around since the beginning of time, I think. And Scooter Scott Vance, who does so much, and Pee Wee Reese, and all the camera people, and Andy Bartley running audio. And I'll tell you what, the crew has been tremendous. Mark Phillips on graphics. I want to thank every Scott and every Randy on the crew. It seems like that's the multiple name. And Mike Matthews and Greg Baker and Jerry Thornton and your mom and my mom. I want to thank Steve Bassford for being the best football statistician in the history of mankind.
Without a doubt. Well put.
10 minutes left to go. By the way, Drexel says he appreciates that everybody's volunteering today. 1st and 15.
Lead option.
He goes to Trapasso, trying to turn the corner, and bounces off 2 defenders. Can he tightrope? He thinks he does. And he marches it down to the 31-yard line, and it'll set up a 2nd down and short. Now you can play a little bit if you're the Tigers with 9:38 and ticking.
Without a doubt, but that was just great effort on the part of Trapasso. Really, he should have been tackled almost at the line of scrimmage by the Raider defense, but he was able to shrug off not only 1 but 2 tackles and accelerate to almost 1st down yardage.
Kramer makes the hit after the gain of 14 on the play. Take a look.
Notice the ball on the outside. There's one great pop as he slips by that other one and tight ropes.
Look out! Look out!
Oh.
Right into the hands of the Raiders. Look what I found, says Chijoki Amati. It's the football, so just when the Tigers are driving, the Raiders snatch their breath.
Boy, did they ever. It would have been well enough for him just to make the tackle, but opportunistic as he has been, the ball popped open and he just grabbed it. It was a pretty good call, though. Second down and short, you're thinking run, play action pass. Look at that effort.
Goglin was down low.
Yeah, let's give Goglin a lot of the credit. He may even punch that ball out. But anyway, Tigers were rolling. That could be the turning point of the ball game.
1st and 10 from the Reynoldsburg 40-yard line. The spike in motion as Chris has got it, tries to find the seam inside, spikes his way up near the 45-yard line. You know, the running game is a good complement to what Reynoldsburg has through the air with Ashman and Fillmore. You can watch for Spike, and about the time you do, Karish maybe will get the ball, or maybe even Foster.
And they'd be very difficult to defend. And their offensive line is, you know, every bit what they've been bragged to be. That Bowman guy, he's all over that field, pulling.
And you look at Matt Brissett.
Excellent football player.
Hopes to get a chance to get back out there and play at left tackle offensively for the Tigers. On 2nd down. Ball resting just past the 44. 8.5 left to go. They need 6. Tigers showing blitz. They're coming. They're coming. And going is Foster. And Foster goes all the way to the 49-yard line. He's a half yard shy of the first down. Whew.
Could have been 7 yards shy of the first down if it wasn't for that great effort.
Yeah, watch Hill at the bottom here, number 41.
Right, he didn't make the tackle, but he slowed him up, turned him back to the inside. Now the pursuit just wasn't there. A couple missed tackles Coach Johnson was worried about. Finally brought down
by Keener. So it's 3rd down and 1 for Reynoldsburg. This is where I perhaps think about the long count if I'm the Raiders and try to draw the Tigers off and get the free one at midfield.
I don't think they'll get real fancy here.
7:44 ticking. Ferguson got it, called his own number and gets it down to the 46. And even if he falls forward, his frame is more than 2 yards in length. He should get the first down.
Yeah, 3rd and 1. Maybe that was an automatic. Anyway, plus yardage again.
We touched on that with Tony Pusateri, and he was telling us that they either signal or messenger most of the plays in. But now that Ferguson, I think number 5 on your screen, is a 3rd-year starter at quarterback, he has a little more flexibility as to what he can do. Well, Paul can call his own play. Why can't Ferguson, right?
That's right.
1st and 10 for the 46.
Here's that passing set. You think they're being bored and they say, hey, we might as well throw one. We haven't thrown one in a while.
Could be the nail in the coffin. No, they keep it on the ground. This time it's Foster. Foster, when you look at him, sometimes he darts and he finds the seam. He doesn't run. He just kind of jukes back and forth and finds that little opening.
Yes, he does. And he doesn't need much as quick as he is. Maybe that one's for the scouts to look for next week. We don't always pass out of that formation. We'll run the ball every once in a while. Hill on the tackle.
Think of some of the running backs they had down through the years. And Reynoldsburg and Bowman and Browning and McGee. Of course, Gary just graduated this past year. Moves on to play his college ball. In fact, Gary McGee going to be starting at Kent.
Yes, as a freshman.
Who else went to Kent? I'm trying to remember.
Boy, anybody that's anybody went to Kent.
Tom McDonald, thank you very much. On 2nd down, Karish is the word I use to describe the running back. He gets it inside the 40 down to the 38. That's an association joke.
I liked it.
Thank you.
Cherish, it's the word, right. It's used to describe.
It'll be 3rd down and short now for Reynoldsburg. Tom, the good thing is not a high-risk play. No. They've been running. They're milking the clock. They're up by 16.
It was actually the play they scored the touchdown that got called back on it. This time the back wasn't in motion, but I think he was behind the ball carrier. Huge play here. The Tigers expect to survive. They need to stop them right now.
Wing to the top and bottom. Ashman, the wideout. Number 3 to the bottom of your formation. 5:50 left to go. And handoff by Karish. I thought we had a running back move upfield early. If this were Canadian football, the Raiders could get away with that. But we had a running back leave early, and I think that will be the play against Reynoldsburg with 5:43 left to go. Now that'll make it a little more interesting here on 3rd down.
Yeah, Tony Pusateri is not a happy man. He would have been breathing very much more easily had they not had a penalty on this play. 3rd and 8.
Illegal motion to call, marches back 5. I had a chance, speaking of Canadian football, to see a a game up in Toronto. I saw the Argonauts play against Winnipeg this past summer in the Sky Dome.
Oh, is that where they play?
With the dome open and the CN Tower there, and watch Toronto get killed as they always do. But what a gorgeous facility to watch a football game. And Canadian football kind of rock and sock them with extra man on the field and 110 yards from the length of the field.
Yeah. Another vacation for you, huh?
It's about time. Ferguson, look at the strength of that arm. Now that's something that a guy that's 6'6" can do in a 3-year starter, to muscle that ball downfield like he just did with 5:21 left to go. It's 4th down.
Hill providing the pressure, but you're right, Ferguson off his back foot being pressured threw that ball right where he should have, out of bounds. Let the punting team come in.
So Pickerington still in this game with 5:21 left to go. Take a look at this pursuit by Pickerington again.
Davis may have been the first guy, but or Frank's coming in, and there's Hill with a nice hit as he delivered the ball.
Paul standing back at his own 41. He's staked his claim perhaps to being the Reynoldsburg.
Whoa, look
Tough
at this.
play. He's going to try to run it again. Will he get the first down this time? Oh, he's done it again.
Gosh, too fast.
Well, that may cinch it for me if I had to pick right now.
Yes.
So many great players, but of the great 6 or 7 for the Raiders, he might get that extra nod there on a bad snap. In fact, that may be a new offense that they run, the new single wing. He could be like the Tom Maddie of this team, perhaps. You know?
Let's talk speed, though. That guy can fly, flat out fly. There's no way he should have got around the outside on that. Maybe the first one, they were all coming hard, but this time they've known it, they've seen it, and still he broke to the outside.
Gang having a good time here in the end zone, but not in the end zone, we should add. And Bob taking a rest right now. He deserves it. 1st and 10 for Reynoldsburg from the Tiger 25. 30-14 the count. Randy Reinhardt, Tom McDonald, Steve Bassford. Week number 1, the high school football game of the week on Sport TV. Glad to have you aboard. Look who's in the backfield. Griffin.
Yes, I like
Melvin's got the pitch. Melvin trying to find a seam, and he's back to the line of scrimmage. And that's about it. He enters into the mix offensively, along with Cephas, who will go in there as well, and Bentley and Davis, along with the starters in the offensive backfield. And again, there's the depth that we're talking about with Reynoldsburg.
He met Mr. Williams. I think Humphrey may have been in on that tackle as well.
Andy Humphreys is a guy that likes science, a member of the National Honor Society, and a member of the Student Council as well.
That's one thing I remember from my fortunate experience with those seniors at Pickerington as they were freshmen. Very solid citizens, very good academics. Important, I think, was one of the smartest ones. All for the center.
Ditto for the guys at Reynoldsburg. When you have a leader like Tony Pusateri, the first thing you better do is hit the books. With 4:25 left to go, pitch to Foster, trying to turn the corner, and Henry is there and meets him at the 27-yard line. And Foster, after he was injured earlier, now is holding on to his left leg. There's 4:15 left.
You hate to see that. You're right. Coach Pusateri has things organized over there. The whole community is all excited. When you look at, hopefully he's going to be all right. When you think about last year, and he never talks about it, Coach Pusateri doesn't, but Reynoldsburg, 2 overtime losses. Exciting. You'll see in the replay the big hit. That was a great tackle.
I'm wondering if he's cramping up, because I saw trainer Nancy, ironically, dressed in purple and black. She was the first one out there on the field. She's the Pickerington trainer, and she was the first one out there to help. In fact, she remains on the field right now as they attend to
Chris Henry.
Foster.
Chris Henry on the hit. But really, if you take away, return a couple of those overtime losses to W's, you'd be talking about Reynoldsburg almost in the same breath of Pickerington. Of course, they had an unreal run these last couple of years with that superb senior class. And, you know, you just don't get cycles like that all the time.
She's half awake and half asleep. Now let's
Which one?
talk about the baby. No, I'm just
Yeah,
kidding. No, Mom is wide awake. Look at that hair.
Mom, that's older
There's
sister.
a lot of hair. Look at that headband, too. That looks like you in your playing
I
days,
like
actually,
it.
about 20 years ago or so. Foster still being attended to at the 28-yard line. Again, don't forget, 2 games every week here on Sport TV. Folks from Sport TV will produce a game, and production partners will also produce a game as well, too. And Foster back on his feet and will walk off under his own power.
You have to keep him healthy.
You know, you touched on the Reynoldsburg situation. As we mentioned, 2 overtime losses. Gang, how you doing? 2 of those by a total of 5 points. If they've really turned it on, they went 6-4 last season.
Right.
A team that has really got a great leader in Tony Pusateri. Same thing, too, for Jack Johnson. 29 years. Jack at the age of 59, I think, as we said, rejuvenated, revigorated, and probably could go for another 29.
I wouldn't doubt it. I wouldn't doubt it. Pickerington can be very fortunate if he does.
See the passing and rushing yards respectively in this contest. And Ferguson doing a great job of milking the clock before he snaps it, shortening this game for the Raiders. On third down, Griffin. The counter comes inside, gets around the 24-yard line. Interesting situation here. Do you even try to put the ball up with a field goal, or do you just try to keep it on the ground here on fourth down and about 9?
I think you keep it on the ground, run another. You could even let the clock run out, but I think they're going to keep it on the ground, just run another play and try to get 10 yards.
Ladies, how you doing? Everybody having a good time here tonight? See, not only are they watching themselves here on Sport TV, but they're also on the big screen here at Cruz Stadium, so that's why they're getting the big giggles.
Wow, I had not noticed that before.
The other thing you could think of here, perhaps, too, is if you want to hit Martin, the tight end, again. He's been open a couple of times, once for a touchdown.
Right, but I think they probably keep it on the ground. Keep going.
Cephas in motion. Oh, Ferguson rolls. Dumps underneath. Pass incomplete. Looking for Griffin. The pass well short. Now Pickerington gets it back. Time of the essence now. 3:08 left to go for the Tigers. Down by 16 and with their full complement of 3 timeouts remaining.
Well, it's a little dangerous. You see that if Pickerington's defender would have stepped in front of that, it could have been clear sailing with the quarterback being sacked. Gutsy call, but came out okay.
So do you look for James Long here if you're
without a doubt?
Pickerington?
Without a doubt, because keep in mind, there's still only a 16-point differential. 2 touchdowns, 2 extra points.
He's at the top with Henry, and Tiefenthaler, the tight end, is actually now wide to the bottom from the shotgun. On first and 10. Aldican looking, now seeing Raiders in his face, and goes down. I don't know. That guy's also played well, too. Amadi has been omnipresent for the Raiders defensively. He's making his case to be the player of the game, and that's why I call him an outside linebacker, too.
Who's number 36?
It's Gogolin, but Amadi was in there.
Yeah, but well, if you saw the Gogolin went through 3 Pickerington linemen and put the pressure on, and then Amadi did make the tackle.
That's where the strength of a wrestler comes in. Aldican, the quick pop, looking for Henry, incomplete. But again, I go back to Amadi, listed as defensive end, but because of his mobility, he almost plays like an outside linebacker. And now Pickerington up against it with a third down situation with 2:33 left to go. Gogolin, by the way, with 2 tackles for loss, and he's caused a fumble. That's all we need is another person to consider for Reynoldsburg for their player of the game.
Right. Well, you could be mighty good and maybe not making player of the game for Reynoldsburg with the competition of the gentleman that's probably going to be selected. Shotgun.
We could change it to Gaga Amadi, perhaps, and combine 3 players.
I like it.
On third down and long. Aldican, the quick pop, the pass to Henry. Even if it's a completed pass, it's still 4th and long, but I don't think it's complete. So with 2:28 left to go, for Pickerington, what do you do? Jablonka comes in. He's a wideout, but he's also the punter.
Yeah, I think you send it. Hope Reynoldsburg tries to field or something. But once again, that defense, you know, of the Raiders has been solid, super solid all night.
So the streak of 16 consecutive regular season victories appears as if it will end for Pickerington, and a timeout is burned by the Tigers with 2:28 left to go. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining here in this contest. Some confusion on the field for the Tigers.
They had enough men.
I think they're at 10 right now.
Yeah.
Yep. They need 1 more. All right. Time now to pick our players of the game. And actually, this time we're going to start with the home team. Big number 20 on your screen, Kyle James. A couple of big plays offensively and defensively for the Tigers. And he gets the nod as the player of the game for Pickerington. So congratulations to the 6', 170-pound senior. And then on the other side, we go to another Kyle. It's Kyle night. Kyle Paw gets the nod. You can see what he's done as a punter. Remember, he took one back 48 yards, though, on a punt, then also on a big play. Brought the ball back, too, so actually probably has more yardage than that on the screen, but did a great job for Reynoldsburg tonight, taking one 48 yards for a touchdown, then also taking one about 20 yards on a bad snap, and making some great plays defensively as well, too, and booming the ball into the end zone. So
very smart of Reynoldsburg not to even field this punt. Just let it roll. We're not going to fumble it this way.
And there's the kick, a boomer by Jablonka. It will hit at midfield.
Penalty flag down. I don't know what's going on with this.
At the 43-yard line. And there's a 3rd flag and a 4th flag just for good measure. All of them them resting it around the 43-yard line with 2:15 left to go in this contest. So the ball all the way down to the 34-yard line. A booming punt for Spangler since nobody returned.
I think.
And it clipped the call on Reynoldsburg.
There was no return man, yet a couple guys from Reynoldsburg must not have got the word, and they were blocking illegally.
53 yards on the punt. Again, in the earlier contest here at Crew Stadium, it's a double dip. Dublin Scioto got by Westland by a count of 42-22. So the Irish off to a good start here in 2001. Don't forget, each and every week, 2 games every week. Here are the trophies that will go out at the end of this contest. That one will go to Reynoldsburg. And again, thanks to Mike Collins and his entire crew for putting this game together. And hats off to everybody at the Crew as well, too. The Crew could be soccer snobs if they've wanted to, but they have done everything here. Think about what's happened here in the last couple of weeks. Soccer in sync in high school football.
What's the chances of state playoffs?
Coming back here again?
Coming back here again.
Probably will happen. The coldest night in my life was back here. Greg Fry and yours truly did the game between Upper Arlington and Logan.
Hey, how about Upper Arlington?
And they were shocked on Friday night, falling to Newark.
Yes, indeed. That was an eye-opener. I thought I read the score wrong.
Grove City with the big win as well.
They're always
and week
tough.
number 1 at Piqua. Piqua, a team that made it all the way to the state championship game. In fact, you saw Piqua and Marysville in the state semifinals here on Sport TV in Division II from Welcome Stadium.
I saw the Lancaster Marion Franklin, or Marion Harding game.
Right.
Boy, that team is tough, the Tigers.
Because Marion Franklin got spanked, I think, by Darby last night, big time.
Marion
Ma'am, how you doing? She's still cheering. She's doing her job to the very end.
What's going on here, Randy? Are we going back and forth, back and forth?
Sorting out the situation. Maybe. It could be whether it's pre or post possession, perhaps. Maybe that's what they're trying to determine on the clip.
What I think might happen is they're going to move it up 15 yards maybe and let them go for it. So.
With 2:15 left to go, there's the Tiger. Not as much in his tank here from the second quarter on. Strong start because, believe it or not, Pickerington led 14-0 in this contest. Reynoldsburg has come back with 30 unanswered points.
That 15 yards may give them first down. It's been so long and they've moved the chains even that I think they even forget.
Well, that was my point of contention, whether it was pre or post.
Sure.
Whether it happened before the change of possession.
This guy's going 30.
Tony Pusateri is trying to tell him where the line of scrimmage was originally here. He says the penalty is too long.
He'll say, yeah, let's replay it on Insight. They'll know where it is. But basically he says each line is only 5 yards from the other ones. Refs, come on, man.
I think the ball should be at the 28-yard line. It's marked at the 32-yard line, so they got an extra 4 yards on that mark of the penalty. That's what Tony Pusateri is trying to claim on the other side, because if I've done my math right, the ball should be at the 28. Instead, it's at the 32-yard line.
And why are they still back punting if it's first down?
Now they're moving the chains out to the 32. Now Pickerington is confused because they have Jablonka back in there and they've got Aldecan back in there. Now they're moving the ball back again with 2:15 left to go. Now it's back to the 22-yard line.
First game, Randy. First game of the year. You get, the teams are nervous. Happens to everybody.
I'm not sure if Tony Pusateri is pleased yet or not. Either way,
he should be on this one.
Both teams need to worry about what's happening here in the last 2:15. And Reynoldsburg moves on from this game in week number 1. And next week, they host Gahanna. That'll be a great game. Gahanna winners over Mifflin.
Oh, no, he's not happy. You're right. They made it first down.
And Pickerington, next game, will be hosting East. So, indeed, the ball will go back to the Tigers and mark the ball at the 22-yard line. So, good news, bad news. They got the ball moved back, but bad news for Tony Pusateri. The possession goes to Pickerington. Still 2:15 left to go, and still two timeouts left for both teams. Aldecan looking downfield. The pass dropped by Jablonka at the 29-yard line.
Goggling in on the pressure again. I don't know how he gets in there.
Want to change your mind now on the player of the game or what?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'd be happy to have him as my nose guard or our defensive tackle, actually. He just goes like a madman.
All right, I want to get to my Shane Carlson story right now, the outside linebacker, number 6 for Reynoldsburg, who I'm not sure is he in the game. Yeah, he is, near the top of your screen. Here's a guy that didn't play football his sophomore year because after his freshman season, he was diagnosed with cancer. Aldecan looking downfield, pops it to Blanca, makes the catch, and Carlson helps to make the hit at the 32-yard line. And Shane, Was diagnosed with cancer in the winter of his freshman year, was in the hospital for an extended period of time. And there's Shane. He couldn't play last year because he was too weak and just building up the strength, but did wrestle at the end of the season. And now here he is. What a comeback story, Tom, to go through chemotherapy, and here he is playing and starting for a team that's got a lot of depth and a lot of strength, and he's playing outside linebacker.
Inspiration for many, many, many people.
1:50 left to go, 1st and 10. Aldican looking, pressure. He goes down.
Carlson was in on there a little bit. He had his help from Carlton McGrady.
And Goglin was in there too.
Goglin figures.
He's been living in the backfield. 90 seconds left to go in this contest. Goglin now with 3 tackles for a loss, and he's caused a fumble. Have to talk to the judges to see if they want to merit a change in this, but I think pause big plays with a catalyst near the end of the first half there to give Reynoldsburg the lead that they've never relinquished after Pickerington got the first 2 touchdowns and 2 extra points. Aldican will throw it up, and James watches that one sail out of bounds near the 45-yard line with 1:04 left to go. Right now, if you're Reynoldsburg, you're playing your safeties about 15 yards off the line of scrimmage, and Pickerington knows that, but still they have to try to get the ball deep or get something downfield.
Very true, Randy, and there's not many great calls on 3rd and 20, although Reynoldsburg came up with one, a nice little counter trap there that went off the distance and really broke the backs of the Tigers, because had that not happened, we would have had a 1-touchdown game.
But also, I think the long pass to James was on a 3rd down and long for Pickerington.
True.
That might have been a 3rd down and 19 situation.
That's very true as well.
Aldican looking long downfield and overthrows everybody at the Raider 45-yard line. That'll set him a 4th down situation with 59 seconds left to go. Steve Basford confirms that it was a 3rd and 19 when they hit the long pass to James. So a couple of big.
I might as well get it. Thing called good business sense.
Right now, that's what Pickerington faces. 4th down. Ball resting at the 23-yard line and 59 seconds left to go, and Jablanca back into punt. Gets it off. It's a boomer. Nice kick. Nobody back deep again for Reynoldsburg. Hops across the 31-yard line, and Henry will down it right there with 49 seconds left to go in this game.
Jeff Blanca's punt is down at the 31. Where the Raiders will take
See
over
if Ferguson comes back out. 49 seconds left, or if they change the offense. You would think it's a safe lead, but one mistake, and who knows what could happen.
And
the Raider fans are celebrating along the far side. Jack Johnson looks on. They'll go into the victory formation. And Ferguson is back at quarterback. Look at Paul. He's way back deep. You can't even see him in that shot. He's 15 yards behind the line of scrimmage, playing an offensive safety, if you will. Preventing Herman Edwards from scooping up the ball and scoring a touchdown. They're digging it.
Wait now.
They're just happy to be on TV. And there he is.
There he is, the pink gorilla. Go, gorilla, go home.
That is
happy man.
Quite a motif. Celebrating Halloween early, and there is a guy that's very happy. Terry's going to get it. Oh, he got it.
Yeah.
On 2nd down, Ferguson takes a knee and gets back up, and that'll do it with 13 seconds left to go.
Woo. We wouldn't mind tonight a little of that water, would we?
I wouldn't either. Tony Pusateri ends the winning streak at 16 for Pickerington during the regular season, and the battle of round 256 goes to Reynoldsburg. 30-14, the final count here at Crew Stadium. We'll be back with more here from the 2nd annual Ohio High School Football Kickoff Classic in just a moment, as Tony Pusateri doesn't have to take that shower for church.
Oh, yeah.
Back with more right after this. Stay tuned.
Would have given up and quit. This veteran Reynoldsburg squad did none of that and just battled and battled and battled.
If you have to coach against the Raiders, who do you key on?
That's what I was thinking, Randy. Not only do they have an outstanding passing attack, but they have a great running game too. And let's not forget about the defense. Defense was solid against run and pass. And how about the kicking game and the fake kicking game?
Meanwhile, for Jack Johnson, what do you tell your Tigers? You're off to a 14-0 start, and then the opponent scores the next 30.
Well, you might want to take an example from Reynoldsburg season last year, where they battled back and won the last 5 or 6 without a loss. And you know, they knew they were going to be young and inexperienced, and they gave a good showing. They started out well. They're just going to have to maintain it a little longer.
Jack Johnson being interviewed right now by Barry Katz down on the sidelines, and Barry talking to the head coach of the Tigers. And, you know, you talk about Jack Johnson wanting to build character and build student athletes. Well, he's going to get that test after week 1, because these guys will be disappointed after the fast start early. But being the mentor that Jack Johnson is, these guys will bounce back.
Oh, yeah, he preaches family all the time, Randy, and if there's anybody that can get a team back and ready in 6 or 7 days, it's Jack Johnson.
And Tony Pusateri, he's sticky right now after getting Gatorade all over him, but he is a happy guy, and what a job he has done with this team. And he has built the depth that he wanted to see in this team in the running back position, also in the wideouts, I think, as well, too. And defensively, he can go about 4 or 5 deep at linebacker, so I think they are set. Tom broke it down. Offense, defense, special teams, they've got it all. Let's take a look now at the stats from this contest as the Raiders get the win by 16. You take a look at the magical numbers. 330 yards offensively for Reynoldsburg in this contest, to about 187 for Pickerington, a total of 3 turnovers as well. And 6 of 22 passing for Pickerington. That is not going to get it done. Ferguson did an outstanding job as a leader tonight for Reynoldsburg. You know, we talk about making fewer and fewer mistakes as you get older. John Ferguson has shown that ability. There are times this season when he will win the game. Tonight, he didn't have to do that.
Very true, Randy. And that offensive line and defensive line give him, the offensive line gives him plenty of protection. He did not really, was very rarely pressured tonight, so he was able to do the thing he likes to do best. And I like the way they make sure that they only send 2 receivers out, giving the quarterback plenty of time to stay healthy.
And finally, a plug for you. What are you doing right now?
I'm coaching the 8th grade team where I teach now at Groveport, in Groveport schools, having a good time.
And how are they doing?
They're undefeated so far. We don't start for a couple weeks.
It's the only time he'll be able to say that all season. Hey, what a contest we had here tonight, week number 1. Our thanks to the crew, our thanks to everybody here at Crew Stadium, but most importantly, our thanks to you for watching. What a night it has been to kick off our 19th season of high school football. Tony Pusateri with a new do here tonight after the shower. He's a happy man, and our thanks to the Raiders and the Tigers for making this a very memorable night. Again, the Battle of Route 256 goes to Reynoldsburg. For Tom McDonald and Steve Basford, I'm Randy Reinhardt. We'll see you in week number 2 somewhere for the high school football game of the week on Sport TV.